فرصة بمواني الصبع بحار يما كأني بعدنا بنفس المكان وجداني وهمومي لسه جوا الدار حعود كيف ما بغوص بحاول يردني التيار سامحيني يما لو كحلتلك الأخمار الموجة مرني عود وضرم بنفس حاول حقلب ما صار وأعود للدار وأضرب من دار بنفسي حقلب ما صار وأعود للدار وأضرب من دار بنفسي
Yeah, you see how they doing us. Images that you be seeing on TV ain't nothing to do with us. They pin us against one another, they love when we fight cause they using us. Taking our homes, tearing them down and they cause they moving us. They wish they would do with us. You see how they doing us, stripping us of our humanity, yeah. فلسطيني حاس حالي غريب جواته لبلدي Against all odds comme le Botswana gros si tu m'aimes pas vas-y casse-toi d'âge j'ai changé de nom comme un Astana viens pas par ici ça fait pas 20,000 in the bank yeah I'm ready to give it away I don't really give a fuck about money and I don't care about a state لو كانت في ايدي You already know what I do حبيبي ولا كيفك يا سيسي عالسجن انت وبيبي yeah I'm running my city Gang in the back and they litty Goofy to cover our faces From Gaza to Jaffa they with me Fuck all the talking I wanna see action My identity is not a reaction Ghost got us in the back Just for a couple of racks You see how they doing us Images that you be seeing on TV ain't nothing to do with us They pin us against one another They love when we fight cause they using us Taking our homes, tearing them down and they cause they moving us They wish they would do with us Yeah, فلسطيني مغترب بطبيعته كل سخط الدنيا اللي باع قضيته قاعد بيزرع بس بإيده Shout out to all of the seeds. Je dis refrain, j'ai pas beaucoup d'amis. Walk in the room and they looking at me. Tryna get rich so my, tryna get rich so my brothers can eat. I hop in the whip and I go to Geneva. Taking you with me to show you the scenes. It's nice over here but the grass isn't green. Gali عالضفة نشوف شاب جديد. Yeah, 20 of us in the back, 40 of us in the front. Yeah, 27 Mac 11s, they toting them bitches, they do it for fun. Yeah, j'finirai assassiné comme Sankara. Oh, yeah. Y'a qu'à Gaza, j'peux atteindre le Nirvana. Oh, yeah. I'm running around with the top down, willing to take all the hate. The new generation will break up the cycle created by Britain the Great. Moment that we saw that video, George Floyd, and you know we relate. Yeah, they stifle us economically, but fuck it, you know what, our body is staying. See how they doing us. Yeah, images that you be seeing on TV and nothing to do with us. They pin us against one another, they love when we fight cause they using us. Taking our homes, tearing them down, and they claim that they moving us. They'll never be through with us. Yeah.
We are living in an age of plutonymy, where monetary controls are granemy. Too many therapists, not enough scientists. Guess you care about yourself more than the environment. Mother Earth, yeah, can you hear her crying, man? Volcanoes, tornadoes, all these wildfires, man. Modern day colonial explorers got a higher plan. Control the ladder to success, so no one climbs it, man. This is classism and fascism, I'm that rhythm. So much division deriving go from the caste system. The sole purpose of banks is to get cash in them. I guess they really don't want us being compassionate. Resources, they are trying to ration them. Resources, why they keep on extracting them. Bang the drum of plutonymy, eliminate the medicine man, build a pharmacy. And yo, then they call that modernity, trying to modernize and colonize our currency. Yo, and yo, the Inca never knew poverty. Do we really need money? What's the idea of property? All I try to do, yeah, is just speak honestly. All I hear on the mainstream radio station is misogyny or materialism, deriving from corporate governance. Feel like every country in the world is a corporate government. Another takedown letter, so they call it fake news. Trump's campaign was based off lies and post-truths. So much global imbalances from propaganda. There is pollution from consumerism. How we gonna handle? Think of everything in the supermarket and then up in the landfill. Then we breathe that air, so just stand still. Capitalism does not function for the greater good. I can't explain, yo, I wish I would. And the things that I say are not meant to be funny, cause you are just another monetary dummy.
Scum, filth, degenerate, viperous, murdering trash, commie government.
Why do immigrants immigrate? Economic inequality. So I wonder why is there so much anti-immigration policies trying to maintain managerial aristocracy? Cause when you think about it, this ain't really a democracy. Globalization is just like gentrification. It's got us patiently waiting for all this modernization. They close the bodega to build the Whole Foods. Call us Latinos, then cut funds from our schools. Trying to take dreams away from our youth. Hopefully this revolution televised soon. Can I get a vote from a super delegate? Most people's vote are really just irrelevant. Materialize a dream and then they start selling it. Visualize a scheme and then they don't let it slip. Most people are just stuck in their technologies, trying to see past the screens, focus on the problem. See, I am a student teacher of epistemology, cause I be living in a state of plutonymy.
Dreaming we could make a living. We may call it home, but it isn't. Living a life full of hate. Don't you talk about forgiving. Quicksand on the beach, but still you got children playing by the sea. The language different, so they gone now. Always wishing it was me. Late nights in the trauma, eating away at my soul. Feeling guilty that I'm not there. Mama, I wanna go home. 4 Giottos on a drop top. We ain't got nowhere to go. IDs at the checkpoints, just so we know we below. Come take a trip to Jerusalem. You ain't see the people, they moving them. Reason they hate me, cause I'm always true with them. This shit got nothing to do with them. Used to have so many friends, now I'm losing them. I don't really give a fuck, cause I'm through with them. I met some real ones that gave me the tools to success, and you better believe it, I'm using them. Damn, yeah. This is all part of the plan. Gotta get rich and get back to the people who never gave up on staying in the land, yeah. Money is nothing to me, I just reinvest in my community, They bombing our cities and then they be saying it's all for security, Ce qui se passe autour, je m'en balèque, j'entends rien. Seul dans mon monde, mais c'est là que je me sens bien. Un seul endroit où je veux être, c'est Gaza. Je l'ai vu de loin et elle m'a dit reviens. Girl, I love it low, crazy. Pick you up in a Mercedes. I wanna take you to Jericho. Parents worry about it daily. Come take a trip to my city. The bullets be flying all over the place, but you're safe just as long as you with me. Already know that somebody gon' kill me. Don't listen to media telling you stories, just take it directly from me. More than a century since we've been free. Just come to my city and see for yourself how they living. 2020, they ain't with the vision. We gon' bring them together, and I don't really give a fuck if you Muslim or Christian. No time for division. My people in Gaza, Yafa and Janine. The people of now just Haifa with Khalid. My people in Yemen, Syria and Lebanon. We got your back cause we know how it feels. Là c'est qu'un rêve mais je sais que je reviendrai. Je pense qu'en ma chien ça m'a rien rapporté. Je sais que je suis capable, faut juste me pousser. Là pour le coup c'est maintenant ou jamais. Fuck these corrupt politicians who steal from their people and don't represent them. I said it, we fight for our rights and it's anti-Semitic. You think after being oppressed they would get it, yeah.
Fuck it, yeah.
As you prepare your breakfast, think of others. Do not forget to feed the pigeons. As you wage your wars, think of others. Do not forget those who fight for peace. As you pay your water bill, think of others, those who are nursed by clouds.
As you return home, to your home, think of others. Do not forget the people of the camps.
As you sleep and count the stars, think of others, those who have nowhere to sleep.
As you liberate yourself with metaphors, think of others, those who have lost the right to speak.
As you think of others far away, think of yourself and say, if only I were a candle in the night.
This is for Palestine and Quds, the capital Jerusalem. Unarmed people marching to the wall and they're shooting them. Suppression is a question, resistance is the answer. Long live Palestine, long live Gaza. Palestine and Quds, the capital Jerusalem. Unarmed people marching to the wall and they're shooting them. Suppression is a question, resistance is the answer. Long live Palestine, long live Gaza.
All you see is war every time you turn your head at night. There's bloodshed on the floor. Mother cries, who cries for her?
Good evening, everybody. Let me though check real quick that this is working. Can you all see me and hear me? If you guys can see me and hear me, just like give me some hearts and reacts in the comments. I just want to make sure the technology is working for us. And we're about to get started. So, first off, I just want to start with gratitude and thank everyone for joining us today, joining me, giving me your trust and your time and your energy and your focus. I know that, coming online. Huh. Awesome. You guys can hear and see me on the comments. That's great. Just want to double check. But yeah, I'm nervous because there's a lot of you. There's a little bit of me. There's only one of me actually, and not only that, I want to address something just right off the bat. I've ever since things have been getting shared more massively from my profile, and the things that I've been thinking about conceptually have been shared. There's been an increase of hate and straight up bullying, and it could.
We cannot see on the YouTube.
Okay, I have some people that say that they can see and hear, and then you guys on the Zoom cannot see or hear at all. So that is interesting.
People in the chat are saying like that we don't think this link was right. It's starting soon. I don't think that YouTube can see you.
Everyone says everything's on YouTube is fine. So actually, if one of you guys on Zoom can hop off and just go straight on YouTube and not be on Zoom and see, that'd be great. There's a different link that got sent to our emails. So I want to apologize you guys once again for technology. I did not expect for this to grow as it did. And okay. So it just seems like things are a little bit delayed in the live stream, but it seems like it's working and you guys can hear me.
Yes.
It says it's starting soon. There's 300 people on there. Okay. Okay, I'm going to continue going. It seems like it's working well. But I want to address something in the room. You will continue to see through my comments, hate and smear campaigns that I've been dealing with out here for the last year and a half. And to be honest, what they're saying doesn't matter. What matters is the information that I'm going to provide you and what you're going to do with it afterwards. But I can say that everything that a lot of these folks are saying is completely unfounded and untrue. It's really painful to see our comrades attacking each other when all I'm trying to do is offer something that I have a specific skill set and back to the people to be able to resist and potentially help somebody else who needs medical aid, especially with the increase of state violence. It's disappointing. It's distracting, but I want to address the elephant in the room, and it is what it is, and it's going to continue to happen as I keep putting out my work, and that's okay. I'm here to be with you. I can spotlight myself. Yes, thank you for asking. And we'll wait, I'll remove the pin. Sorry, I haven't also used Zoom in a long time. I've been trying to stay off the screens. All right, spotlight for everyone. All right, thank you for asking that. All right, does that work? Okay, so welcome everybody. Before we start, I'm going to introduce my sis here from the Arapaho Nation, whose people are of this land, and we are really honestly in every moment that we resist empire, we are defending these lands and her people's lands. So it's really important for me to allow for my sister to speak and to share with you all and to start this with you. So sis, I'm gonna give me one second to remove me and highlight you.
Hi, good evening, relatives. Nie hi no ke hi no eitino. I want to recognize the relatives whose land we're on. My name is Kendra Soderberg. I'm mixed indigenous, actually, with some Swedish lineage in there as well, hence my last name, Soderberg. And the way we address ourselves is through our mother's lineage, actually. And so I just want to highlight, I grew up outside of Rosebud in a small town, Valentine, in South Dakota. I now reside in Colorado, and I have lineage in the South as well. So I just want to say hello again to my relatives. I'm going to share a short prayer. And so, anyway, nananani na ine, not chat nananan. Beithan, Bedatha, Ja'awunani, Taneta Yana Te Netacha, Creator, Father God, the immense one. We come to you in a good way, in a good sound mind, body, spirit. Be sa to hit, hat dit, near the cha na. Nuhu usi, wana ya usi, wana ya unatit. Today's a new day, a new life like that. We honor that. Hat dit, near the cha, dit. Wana ya usi, wana ya unatit. Hat na asa. Ni hao pat ka tuita. Hat the hoisan. And I just want to say, you know, may we walk in a good way today. And may this day be happy for each and every one of us. Tas, Baba Ya, Tas, Biko Thathan. And once again, much love to everybody. Remember that we must forgive one another, love ourselves, and love one another. And I just want to end that with, and so it shall be. Hat and asshole. Thank you.
Thank you, sis, for that beautiful blessing. Something that she is very humble about that I'm going to share is that there's only 220 speakers of her language. And that's the result of the settler colonial project that is called the United States of America.
Less than 250, and most of them are over the age of 50. So yeah, it's a language that needs to be revitalized, and I'm doing my best. This particular portion was given to me by a Sundance elder and my my Arapaho dad, and so I hold it with great regard. And so thank you for allowing me to speak that today.
Always humbled. And thank you. So, hello everybody. My name is Ethos. My pronouns are they, them, and I'll get into just a tad bit about me in just a bit. Let me spotlight myself. And let's the training begin. Drop what stolen lands that you're on in the chat, and your prayer for the future and for Minneapolis and for Palestine and and Congo and Sudanese and Venezuela and all the places where empire is colonizing and causing violence towards the global majority. I'm presiding on Ohlone lands. I'm hoping that this is going to share and we're going to begin. So yes, I do plan on recording this individually. I'm trying to figure out privacy and safety. Everyone's emails will be deleted at the end of this call for those at the end of this training week, because I'm going to send you guys the links in this way moving forward. I also want to apologize for the technology. Nothing affordable is able to bring us all together into one room. Is very expensive. It's a whole month's rent. So we had to live stream this way. So thank you for joining us. Please do not say anything that you wouldn't want said into a court. It is safe to say that this is being surveilled. And I'd rather assume that than not. But what we're doing here is just sharing first aid. We're sharing ways to help each other. So let me share my screen and see. Hopefully that works. Please let me know if you can see my screen, okay? Making sure that everything works. Give me like a yes, some yeses. If you can see my screen, or if any of my homies can text me, let me know if they can see my screen. Okay, awesome. So welcome to the unofficial street medic training. I just updated this yesterday, so there's some new information on here from the last time I offered this. So real quick, make sure you have notebooks. If I need to slow down, please let me know. Oh, sorry, I should pin you. I also have a Spanish interpreter here. So every 5 minutes, is there people that are Spanish speaking on this call? If so, every 5 minutes or so, I'm going to pause and allow for Spanish interpretation of what I'm offering or of what I'm saying. I can't tell if there's yeses between if you could see it or if you needed some Spanish interpretation. So yes to like put yes Espanol or something in the chat so I can. Sweet. Okay. So just so you guys know, I'm trying to provide you an outline so you can kind of see what's going to be our night tonight. So obviously we're going to have an opening and a land in prayer. I don't know why that says bleeding. I think I might have copied and pasted that. I'm human. I make a lot of mistakes. So please forgive me. Next, we're going to go through community agreements, some disclaimers, and a framework. Then I'm going to talk just literally one slide about me, just so you know who I am and my background. And then what makes a street medic is next. Basic first aid foundations, because the best paramedics and the best medics are the best BLS EMTs, and they can sure as hell do first aid like no tomorrow. The next is your patient assessment. This is something that I added on to street medic training because I want to give you actual tools for you to actually identify what is big, little sick, what is a major trauma, what's not, based off of some things that I consider pretty simple. Everyone could be an EMT. That's the cool part that I discovered when I went to EMT school. Next is going to be common conditions and treatment basics that I see most common out when we're at protests. And this one's going to be pretty quick because I really want to get into trauma medicine with you guys. That's going to be the good. And then we're going to go into occlusive dressings, which I'm really excited about. Sorry, it's weird for me to say excited about. As a paramedic, we're weirdos. We choose this as our career, but I want to say how dystopian it is that I have to offer this training in general. I never wish for anyone to do what we do in an ambulance. But here we are in the times that we're in. And so I apologize for saying, okay, so we do need some interpretation. Got you. ASL interpretation, we're going to have a completely ASL class just like this on Wednesday night from 8:30 to 10:30. So that will be our ASL class, organized by the deaf community. I'm really excited about that. So thank you all for helping collaborate on that on Wednesday night's experience. So, but I'm interrupting to say that this is not something that people should know how to do. It is not something that I should be teaching to the masses. It is not something that you all should have been coming to in the masses. This is abnormal. This is not normal, and we should not normalize this. But this is the normal life of Palestinians for the last 100 years. For people in South America, for people everywhere in the global majority in the global South, that empire and our country has been waging violent white supremacy on. All right, so then we're going to go into rapid trauma protocols. I try to break it down really, really easy for you to grasp because, like, it's really important that you know this stuff. Do's and don'ts of stopping the bleed. So police formations and tactical awareness and street medic pods. So community agreements, I'm always going to center the global majority in everything that I do. That means that those that have unfair power inequities due to what I call what Vanessa Machado de Oliveira, who wrote Hospital Modernity, calls modernity, or what we know as colonized white supremacy. Consent is really important to me. So if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. So if you need to take some time away because this is intense material, please do so. Take care of yourself. Being able to recognize when you're getting tense in your chest is a key part of being a medic and being in emergency medicine. Recognizing that and taking a deep breath in. Also, oops, sorry, that was from a different thing. But be aware of how much space you're occupying. You guys are in the chat, so we don't have to worry about that. Be aware of your energy. We're not talking. Unfortunately, I can't do workshops or skills, so we're not talking. I should have updated this. I apologize. And then bring your emotional maturity and competence. Take care of yourself. And then come ready to listen and learn. And also contribute in the chat. I don't know everything, which comes to my disclaimer. It is not a training that is seen as certifiable or legitimate in any of the Western street medic standards. I just happen to have $30,000 worth of emergency medicine training, firefighter training. I also was a CBRN veteran, not hiding that I was ex-military. I don't know why people thought that's an insult. I did sell my body to the U.S. Army when I was 18. It is very true. And I was a CBRN specialist, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear specialist, did a whole bunch of nothing and never thought I would ever use that training again, but here we are. So the CBRN leads into hazmat work, usually. I believe that we have sent out another, we sent out another link and that should be updated. So please let us know if you got that second email. I apologize about the technology. Like you guys, moving 7,000 emails over was not easy. Let me tell you that much. So this is also community organized. It's decentralized. I'm an autonomous medic. People are correct. I don't work with any of the street medic collectives here because I've experienced internal racism, transphobia, and I don't agree with a lot of their tactical styles. So I am autonomous. I'm very picky on who I organize with. I will fight with many people, but I'm very, very picky on who I organize with. So I am autonomous and I do move solo, but I do train people whenever they ask. And I have trained many. And this is open source, so this is all free. I'm going to send you guys a drive with a bunch of resources I collected and have been sent along the way. And this is and you'll see I take a lot of different information from Riot Medicine, from other places, and we're grafting it together to see what works. And I'm also not an authority figure or a gatekeeper of street medicine, nor do I want to be. If I have wrong information or outdated information, please speak up in the chat. Like this is for us and for our community. Like we're here to learn together. I just decided to do something. Okay. So that's it. So who am I? I'm a trans mass non-binary mixed race human being. My father is from the Philippines, immigrated here, and my mother is from the South, and she's white. And I call that part of myself my colonizer self. I've been an activist and organizer since 2020. I did all the things. I was at all the things. All these photos are actually from me in DC and my work there. I was an event producer. I'm also was a travel artist and was a hippie nomad and fell for what I call the LIGHT light supremacy cult of new ageism. And have a lot of shame around that I've worked through. And I've also done Jedi harm reduction, somatic abolitionism, decolonization consulting and praxis for a long time also. And then I got tired of the nonprofit setting and decriminalization work, and I decided to pursue emergency medicine so I could be of service and get out of an echo chamber and get on the streets and help people. And from there, I fell in love with emergency medicine. I think that if Western culture is good for anything and has contributed anything to society, it's emergency response and disaster response. They do really great emergency medicine. So how to become an official street medic? Honestly, you show up and you help. You throw a first aid kit in your pack or in your bag. You show up and you're like, how can I help? That's my opinion. People have 20-hour bridge trainings. And yeah, I don't know. Being a street medic is to help. Oh, Jedi. Jedi's just I don't think it's D. I shifted from DEI because I saw it getting co-opted and weaponized. So it's justice, equity, divestment, and intersectionality work. Overview. So this is the intention of this training is to disseminate basic first aid, CPR, life-saving techniques in a combination with harm reduction tactics, strategies, and cultural competency so that we may provide safety and service to our community during a protest or outside. These are the main values always centered here: decolonization, harm reduction, anti-oppression, service, and community. So my hope and vision for our community: we build a strong contingent of confident street medics. We build a strong system of community care for our community so we can continue to have sustainable movements for decolonization and liberation. This is something we can co-create together. So quick overview of emergency medicine. Emergency medicine, one, came from the Black community in response to not receiving any kind of healthcare or healthcare response or emergency response to their homes. So this is founded in Black liberation and Black community care. You can look up more of that history. We have a lot of material to get through. So I'm not going to, you guys have Google, and unfortunately I have Google. I wish we had whatever search engine, please go down the rabbit hole. It's really cool history. But anyways, the most important thing to know about emergency medicine, it relies on time and quickly stabilizing, assessing, and transporting quickly to a higher level of care. Time saves lives, meaning that the quicker someone intervenes to stop an uncontrolled bleed, to perform CPR, and other stabilizing techniques for life threats, the higher likelihood of a good outcome is what we call it. Street medicine, emergency paramedicine is incredibly different than working in a hospital, aka well, unless you're in the ER and depending on what ER. But it can be more of a sanitized environment than us going, particularly in an ambulance, going into someone's home. And you have no idea how people actually live sometimes, and you learn a lot. But real quick, an example is in my third code when I was an EMT, we had about a 25-minute response time to the middle of nowhere. CPR in progress, and then they literally had to put him on the back of the work truck, drive him to the main highway, and we met at this random intersection in the middle of an agricultural area in Yuba Sutter County. And it took us a really long time to get there, like 25, 30 minutes. And all this dude had was a bystander CPR. We got Rosk in about 2 minutes while being on scene, shocked him, epi, loaded him up, and then we started driving back to the one trauma 3 level center there, and he ended up walking away with a good outcome and with no deficits because bystander CPR was implemented right away. So what is a street medic? So I take a lot of this from Riot Medicine, one of the OGs. I don't need to recreate and reinvent the wheel for everything. So medics are akin to more lifeguards than they are paramedics, particularly street medics. They are part of the crowd and they have to actively seek out situations where violence may occur so they can quickly render care. Tactics vary greatly with geography and time. The best teachers are experienced medics in your region and experience itself. So I said, what makes you a street medic? You going out and being a street medic at your local actions, or even on your local streets, walking down and helping out unhoused folks. So from Riot Medicine, basic first aid. So the biggest thing is your safety, scene safety. We always say in EMT school, it's literally ingrained in us, BSI, scene safety. Because if you're getting shot or hurt in the scene, or you're putting yourself at risk, you are no longer a provider. Or yes, sorry. I do, if all my healthcare workers, when I say abbreviations, if you can help everyone out in the chat, that'd be really wonderful. We are full of abbreviations in healthcare medicine, as you'll see. So please catch that for me, or if I do, hopefully I'll catch it in the chat. All right, so your safety matters, your situation awareness, your scene. Are you safe? That matters the most, because then you become a patient. And if you become a patient, well, you can't provide care. Next, BSI, body substance isolation, gloves. I always have a stack of gloves in my hand, in my pockets. We should all be masking up in some way, shape, or form at this point. To be honest, if you're in Minneapolis, I would be walking around with my goggles and my respirator already. which I owe you guys a mass seal content tomorrow. Don't let me forget ADHD. That's how I remember. And then not only that, in 95s, whatever you feel is necessary to one, protect your identity, to protect yourself from body substances and whatnot. Sometimes I won't lie, there's been moments where I didn't get the gloves on time and it's really gross. So also bring hand sanitizer. So this is the first thing you do. If you feel like things are heating up and you need to go render care, your gloves should be already coming on. You should already have them out. Sometimes I just walk around with them too. All right, so this is where notes come in, really important. This is the elements of a basic patient assessment. It's just 5 things. I break down the really long NREMT one to 5 things for us, especially as non-providers. BSI scene safety. Ask yourself, is my scene safe? Can I protect myself, my partner? Because you should always be in a buddy system or a group system. And my patient. Do I have the proper PPE on to keep myself safe? If you don't have your respirator on, your goggles on, and you're going into a warm zone of tear gas or even a hot zone to extract a patient, you now are coughing and you now have to be extracted also. Mask up first. Is the patient's mental status. This is what we call altered and alert and oriented. Is the patient alert and oriented times 4? Or is the patient altered? We'll get into that more. ABCs. ABC is super easy. We all know our ABCs. Assess its airway, breathing, circulation. We're going to learn, I'm going to teach you really closely how to assess that. Oh, sorry. Yes. Thank you. I can slow down. I apologize. Thank you for asking for your needs. And then vital signs, don't worry. I'm going to break these down more. And I'm also going to send you guys a PDF of these slides too, so you'll be able to review. There is a lot of content, so I have to be a little bit, and I also forgot we have interpretation, so we'll do that after this one. I'll teach you guys really quickly how to read 4 vital signs that would let you determine if someone is a big or a little sick. Salami, you want to come on and do an interpretation real quick? And I can go through the slides.
Yeah, sure. Do you want video on or off?
Let's just do, would you like your video on? It's up to you.
It's fine with me.
Okay. That feels good to you.
Yeah, just so people know I'm a real person.
Okay.
Buenas tardes, estamos aquí tratando de ayudarles a todo el mundo a entender las direcciones fundamentales para poder ayudar a nuestra comunidad en este tiempo de crisis. Queríamos básicamente hablar de las heridas de bala, la descontaminación de gas lacrimógeno y cómo hacer evaluaciones básicas en tiempos donde la gente puede estar muy estresada, cómo trabajar en equipo. Queremos hacerlos entender que todo esto está arraigado en la ética abolicionista, la unidad comunitaria y los principios descoloniales. Este entrenamiento los va a equipar con las habilidades prácticas para lidiar con emergencias vitales y estar preparados para defender a nuestra comunidad, básicamente. En este curso van a aprender cómo ser respondedores de primera línea, básicamente, y protectores de la movilización, cuyo propósito es, pues, protegernos uno al otro, ¿no? Durante estos tiempos tan increíblemente horribles, estresantes, deprimientes. Hay mucha gente que está asistiendo a las protestas colectivas y queremos asegurarnos que si nos pasa algo, sepamos cómo lidiar con eso, porque como hemos visto en las noticias, sí es algo que está pasando. Esta es nuestra realidad, desafortunadamente. No es algo que queremos estar haciendo, obviamente, pero es necesario. En realidad lo pensamos. Queríamos decir unas cuantas cositas, ¿no? Solamente requerimos tu atención, no se requieren herramientas o experiencia previa. Si quieres tener materiales para anotar, por ejemplo, claro que hazlo, pero no es requerido. Apreciamos que estén aquí. Unos acuerdos comunitarios que queríamos discutir, debido a que este es un entrenamiento público, no verificado, estamos priorizando la seguridad colectiva y la higiene digital, ¿no? Entonces, si prefieren no usar su nombre real en la llamada, es perfectamente bien. Les pedimos que no graben, tomen capturas de pantalla ni distribuyan el contenido de otras personas. No hay que acosarnos ni señalar, hacer señales transfóbicas, homofóbicas, racistas. Obviamente no estamos aquí para eso. Queremos compartir la información de manera responsable. Este conocimiento es para reducción de daños y cuidado comunitario, no para desempeño o notoriedad o para que actuemos como un salvador. Por favor, asuman que siempre hay vigilancia. Practiquen la discreción en lo que dicen y comparten. Cuídense a ustedes mismos también. Por ejemplo, si se pone muy fuerte, aléjense si se sienten abrumados o activados de cualquier manera. Am, ese entrenamiento no otorga credenciales, simplemente te presenta y hace el trabajo, te presentamos para hacer el trabajo que necesitas para ayudar en estas brigadas médicas. No está verificado ni sancionado por el Estado, no te vas a certificar, no reemplaza la formación de paramédicos. Esta solamente es una educación entre personas del mismo pensamiento que nos importa lo que está pasando. Am, Les ofrecemos esto en el espíritu de ayuda mutua, consentimiento informado y defensa comunitaria. Tú eres responsable de cómo aplicas esta información, pero por favor, aplíquenla de una manera correcta. Los valores personales de ethos son enredo metabólico, desinversión de la modernidad y el imperio, hospicio, responsabilidad intelectual, rendición existencial, responsabilidad para la intelectualidad, hiperautorreflexividad, visiones e imaginación descoloniales, antiopresión y antifascismo, y en realidad cree que el sistema cultural y estructural es obsoleto en los ojos del imperio. Ethos, you had a very beautiful poem that you adapted from Gesturing Towards Decolonial Futures. Is it okay if I share that?
Yes, it's their principles. We'll do that real quick, and it seems like maybe we do like there's a weird we're having a little debate about time in the chat. So
Okay.
just want to center that.
Okay.
Awesome.
Los voy a dejar con esto y seguiremos nuestro entrenamiento. El planeta entero, la Tierra, Pachamama, es mi hogar y mi país. Mi país es mi madre y mi madre no conoce fronteras. Todos estamos relacionados, humanos, rocas, plantas, animales y todos los demás. Pachamama es una madre embarazada de otra generación de hijos no depredadores que saben cultivar, cuidar y equilibrar fuerzas y flujos, y que entienden que cualquier daño hecho al planeta es un daño hecho a uno mismo. Las respuestas están en cada uno de nosotros, pero es difícil escucharlas cuando no hay equilibrio. Escuchamos demasiadas voces diferentes, especialmente en las ciudades. La prioridad para la vida y la educación es el equilibrio. Actuar con sabiduría para equilibrar el consumo material, aprender a enfocarse en relaciones espirituales sagradas, trabajar juntos con, con los diferentes dones de cada uno de nosotros con un sentido de unidad. Nuestro propósito es aprender y de nuevo aprender a lo largo de nuestra vida para convertirnos en mejores seres. No existe un conocimiento completo. Todos enseñamos, aprendemos y seguimos cambiando. Es un camino sin fin. Hay conocimiento que puede ser descrito, hay conocimiento que puede ser conocido, pero no descrito. Y hay conocimiento que no puede ser conocido ni descrito. Nuestros maestros son los apus, Pachamama, las plantas, lo que vivimos día a día y lo que se ha vivido antes, los animales, nuestros hijos, nuestros padres, los espíritus, nuestra historia, nuestros ancestros, el fuego, el agua, el viento, todos los diferentes elementos que nos rodean. La serpiente, el puma y el cóndor son símbolos de dimensiones materiales y no materiales, de lo que puede ser conocido, de lo que no puede ser conocido ni determinado, y de las conexiones entre todas las cosas. Las enseñanzas tradicionales de generosidad, gratitud y vida en equilibrio que se están perdiendo son muy importantes para nuestros hijos y nuestro futuro. Es necesario recuperarlas. El mundo se transforma mediante el amor, la paciencia, el entusiasmo, el respeto, el coraje, la humildad y vivir la vida en equilibrio. El mundo no puede transformarse mediante guerras, conflictos, racismos, ira, arrogancia, divisiones o fronteras. El mundo no puede transformarse sin conexiones espirituales sagradas y estamos aquí todos haciendo eso mismo. Entonces, muchas gracias. Si tienen preguntas, necesitan ayuda a interpretar el español, por favor pónganlos en el chat y yo puedo ir contestándoles en lo que seguimos. Gracias. ¿Hitos?
Okay, the comment section, Swami, you got to read it because the conversation was really beautiful. So thank you all for that. It is a good reminder too that, we should learn Spanish for our relatives who are being targeted by, I don't want to even call their names in, but sorry. I'm also been sick the last week, so excuse me if I cough throughout this. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. I do apologize. The slides started skipping around on me. Technology's been weird today. It's been really interesting. Neptune ain't playing around. Let's just say that. And yes, I love astrology. I am one of those. Also, queer, neurodivergent, trans, and brown. Sometimes I turn white. Sorry, I'm rambling. Anyway, so we went to basics of assessment. Next, this is actually something that you could do all the time, and that helps you really determine if someone's sleeping or not. So alert and oriented, ANO, or altered mental status, which is AMS or altered loss of con. Sorry, I cannot talk right now. You guys know what I'm saying. Please help me out. So assessing a patient's mental status is critical to decide if a patient is big or a little sick. And I will also say, I'm a little nervous, so excuse me all if I mess up along the way. To assess a patient's mental status, use the following mnemonic: PPTE. We love our mnemonics and EMS. Person, place, time, event. And use it every single time. I think sometimes it's a way for providers to get an AMA from a patient who may actually need some medical assistance to add extra questions. So just stick with these four. First one's person. Can you tell me what your name is? Everyone should know their name. Even a lot of my dementia patients, they still know their name. Sometimes they don't, and that's okay too. Sometimes I don't know my name. So then the next one is place. Can you tell me what city you're in? You should know what city you're in. When I'm at festivals, I'm like, what festival you're at? Because sometimes you don't know what city you're in at the festival. Next one is, do you know what year it is? Not month. I never know what month. I never know what day of the week, but I do know what year it is. And that one's a big tell. And then the last one is, can they tell you what happened to them? Anytime that any of these are not, they cannot answer these appropriately, meaning they can't tell you your name, they can't tell you what city it is, or what year, or what happened to them, they are altered. And when they're altered, that's a big sign that something is going on. So say like a person knows their place, the person, place, and time. We would consider that ANO3. But they're still altered because they're not ANO4, which means they are alert and oriented. If they're missing 2, it's ANO2. And if they get down to ANO1, that's a really big sign that something is not right, which we'll get into in a second. So vital signs. Normally I do this in person and I actually teach you how to take a manual blood pressure. It's actually really, really easy. But we don't have time for that. You can, honestly, YouTube is a phenomenal resource to learn how to do things and be things. So please look up how to use a blood pressure. It's really, really easy. But the thing that's the most important that all of us can do is checking a pulse. So you want to find our pulse. And I will admit I struggle with Western medical terminologies, so I break things down as like really easily. So that makes me not a good provider, whatever. You want to find your pulse. And then when you have your watch on every 15 seconds, every pulse for 15 seconds times 4, that's your pulse for a minute. Right. So, honestly, I should have reviewed the slides a little bit more, but I was more updating them. But big or a little sick. To simplify, to determine if a patient is big or a little sick, these are the 4 factors that you need to consider, which is why vitals. Oh, now I know what I would go through vital signs, pulse, and then the same thing for respiration. I'm really nervous, guys. Oh, sorry. And then for your respirations, you do the same thing. You just look at someone's chest go up and down for 15 seconds, times that by 4. That's their respiratory rate for a minute. You already know how to do 2 things of how to tell someone's vital signs. And those are the 2 main things that you need to tell if someone's alive or not, and if you need to engage in CPR, all by the power of touch and time. So, big versus little sick. It's literally that simple, y'all. That's how simple we make decisions, because when we're in the field, it's called the golden hour. The golden hour. We have 10 minutes on scene of a major call or a big sick patient to get them off scene and back to hospital, because statistically it increases good outcomes, and for people to get higher level of care is how we save lives, right? Back to the beginning. So the very first thing that you can do is observe your patient. Look at your patient. The skin signs tell you everything, y'all. Like I got so good at one point, and I will admittedly say that I haven't been able to practice as a paramedic due to allegedly being on a bridge, and that the amount of trumped up charges they placed on me prevented me from continuing my paramedic career, so it's been on hold. So this is also a really good review for me. But you can walk in, you can literally see how someone's skin signs are, and you can tell how sick they are when you get that good. If they're sweating, so the first question, are they pink, warm, and dry? That's what we would call normal. And it's also very racist, because not everyone has pink skin, but unfortunately that's what they teach us. Are they pink, warm, and dry? Or are they sweaty, cool to the touch, and pale? It'll be really important for y'all to also study different skin signs of more melanin skin, because the textbooks aren't going to show you, and you have to go out of your way to educate yourself. More melanin skins can look purple or ashen versus pale. FYI. So we now have figured out the technology how we're on TV, and we'll make sure to get it to you right this time. So thank you for forgiving us on the technological things again, for all of you who have joined. So then the next one is if they're pink, warm, and dry, or if their skin is normal for their pigmentation, we should change that, right? Warm and dry, they're a little sick, or they need to, yeah. And then if they're sweaty, pale, cool to the touch, big sick. Sweating profusely is a really big sign that something is wrong with somebody. Could mean they're hypoglycemic, could mean we call it the cardiac sweats sometimes. And then, yeah. All right. So next is your patient systolic. And this is actually something that you can learn how to palpate, which is something that I had to learn to do at Burning Man this year. Because everything is so loud. It was really cool to actually like learn how to palpate fully, because sometimes they don't teach you everything in school. And it's really easy. One of my instructors says it's the rule of 90s. If it's below 90, big sick. If it's above 90, little sick or normal. We're not going to get into hypertension because that's not our problem. And then next is the patient's mental status. So in the chat, tell me when someone's altered. What would be the, how would we say it? I gave you guys the little key. Well, you can't tell if someone's drunk or high, but I like the answer. But ANO status is your alert and oriented. You have 4 questions. PPTE, person, place, time, event. I'm so happy for the healthcare workers in this chat. You guys are awesome. Perfect. There you go. Perfect. Love it. Okay. We're just a little delayed together. All right. And anything below an ANO4 is what we would call altered. As providers, we aren't here to judge someone how they're altered. We just know that they're altered. Sometimes it's nice for us to know to give them proper treatment, but that's not our problem right now. And next is the respiratory rate. This is easy number, easy number. Below 12, really bad. They're not breathing for themselves at that point, and what we say to bag someone. I actually have my kit. Give me 1 second. It's what we call a bag valve mask. You see it all the time on TV, I'm sure. The moment that we need to breathe for someone, get positive PPV, positive ventilation, is when they're below 8. But below 12, they are not breathing well. It's what we need to worry. So how do we do that again? You can throw it in the chat. We look at someone's chest, rise and fall. For how many seconds? 15 seconds. And what do we do after that? We count how many breaths per 15 seconds, times it by 4. That's your respiratory rate. And it's hard to, and so anything that is outside of the low rate of 12 and the higher end of 24 is abnormal. There's something going on there. Oftentimes, as street medics, we deal with people hyperventilating. So that's when like my harm reductionists, my mental health experts come in. We teach people how to box breathe. We ground people with good grounding tools, or we have them name 5 real things around them, or 5 colors really work. That's how actually it works for a lot of my patients for anxiety, is having them name colors. Helps me too, because I have complex PTSD and sometimes I have anxiety. Any questions? Dang it, I thought I did the triangles wrong. I won't lie, I swear to God, I did it right. I still can never get it right. There's a few things that I struggle with as a neurodivergent person. The greater and less than signs and choose. Which choose? Choose. Sorry, you guys are gonna have my tangents and a little bit of my humor along the way, and hopefully it makes you laugh a little bit. It's also really vulnerable to show this so publicly. Anyway, so the assessment. BSI scene safety. Right back to the beginning. So what's BSI? Body substance isolation. It's your gloves, it's your mask, it's your eye pro, it's your respirator, it's your goggles, your helmet. That's a good way to do it. I like that. It's like the heart. Good advice. Maybe that one will stick. And then it's your general impression. This is what I said. As you're approaching your patient, one, you're assessing your scene, and then you're getting your general impression of your patient. Can you hear, see, feel as you approach the scene in your patient? Do you need to extract them first to get them away from the police line, or from the? God, I really don't want to say their name. They suck. And then what do you notice and observe about your patient in the scene as you approach? The scene can tell you a lot of stuff, especially if it's a trauma. Like, can you see where they hit? Is there impact with the car? And then how does that impact determine what you're going to expect to see within the patient and their injuries? What's their skin signs? Is that patient tracking you as you approach, or are they just like dazed off? Are they conscious? Are they unresponsive? And then what? And then sometimes there's a security member or bystanders that are nearby that saw what happened, and getting that story is really important to help determine your treatment and how big or little sick this patient is. And then of course your ANO status. What is that again? PPTE. Person, place, time, event. What's your name? And that's also like a really good way to introduce it. Like, hi, I'm Ethos. I'm a paramedic. I'm a street medic. What's your name? And they tell your name. Do you know what year it is? And I was like, okay, cool. You know what year it is? Do you know what city we're in right now? And they're like, okay, cool. And I was like, can you tell me what happened? Especially if there's like stun grenades and stuff like that. It's actually meant to make you have a concussion. So they might actually have some head injury from there and need to be removed from the scene. No, with head injury should be staying at a protest. They need to be encouraged to go home at that point, or even to go get a CT scan. Subdural and epidural bleeds are no joke. And then, are there any life threats? Are ABCs: airway, breathing, circulation. Pause for a second. Salami, you want to come on and just do a quick one for the assessment? Like do these 3 slides?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I can do that.
Good time for bio break too for any of our English speakers, and get food, whatever you need, water, take care of yourself.
Yeah. Ok, so queremos hablar sobre qué en realidad es la medicina de emergencia, especialmente cuando estamos hablando de brigadas médicas. So, queremos establecer al paciente rápidamente y también queremos evaluar cómo están. Y si necesitan un cuidado médico de nivel más serio, necesitamos transportarlos. También necesitamos apoyarlos en su misión, pero informarles que estás haciendo maravilloso. Gracias por estar aquí. Pero si no te cuidas tú mismo, no vas a poder en realidad hacer lo lo que estás aquí para hacer, ¿no? Entonces tenemos que cuidarnos nosotros mismos también cuando estamos en el campo y estamos tratando de cuidar de otros. Asegúrense que ustedes también estén manteniendo buena distancia para que no se estén dañando, para que no les pase nada, ¿ok? También necesitamos que mantengan un ambiente calmado dentro de ustedes y que siempre estén preparados con guantes o mascarillas, porque uno nunca sabe qué se va a encontrar, si va a haber sangre, si va a haber contaminación. No queremos eso, ¿ok? Am, Otras cosas sobre las que habló, tenemos que evaluar la escena. Tu paciente está a salvo en ese momento. No puedes estar a medio del caos tratando de cuidar a alguien. Si están mal, por favor, retírenlos de la escena, de la acción y tráiganlos a una banqueta o algo similar para que puedan cuidar de ellos en una manera más calmada y asegurarse que puedan preguntarles cosas como ¿quién eres? ¿Sabes dónde estás? Yo soy tal persona. Eh, ¿Qué estás haciendo aquí? Cosas así para en realidad poder darnos cuenta si esta persona está respondiendo o si en realidad no tiene ninguna idea o si su conciencia fue afectada. Queremos saber el estado mental de nuestros pacientes. Queremos inmediatamente accesar si sus vías aéreas están bloqueadas. Tenemos que asegurarnos que puedan respirar. Queremos checar su presión, queremos checar su respiración y queremos ver su piel. Su piel, muchas personas, acuérdense que no son de piel clara. Hay gente que tiene más melanina y puede tal vez tener la piel morena. Tenemos que salirnos de esa mentalidad de que, ay, ok, tenemos la piel rosita y si están muy pálidos, no todo el mundo va a tener esa presentación. Si hay gente con más melanina, por favor pónganse a ver, están azules, están resecos, puedes checar, levantar tal vez los labios si tienes guantes y checar el color de las encías. Las encías es un lugar perfecto que indica en realidad cómo está tu paciente. Si están amarillos, eso no está bien. Si las encías están rojas, tampoco está bien. Si las encías están moradas, azules, pálidas, tampoco está bien. Queremos que las encías estén rositas porque ese sí es un lugar que podemos estar seguros que va a ser más o menos similar en todas las poblaciones, ¿no? Am, Queremos saber si la gente básicamente está súper enferma o no, o poquito. Otra vez, tomar la presión, la respiración, puedes tomar el pulso, puedes tomar el pulso aquí y inmediatamente cuando empiezas a sentir así como que paso, o en la yugular, cuenta hasta 15 y luego multiplica ese número por 4, ¿ok? Yo siempre les recomiendo que tengan una libretita o algo escrito con la respiración, la presión normal, para que nunca estés adivinando. Otra vez, asegúrense de que la respiración esté entre 12 o 24. Queremos asegurarnos de que todo esté calmado. Y otra vez, si alguien está mal, por favor, traten de convencerlos que se vayan. No puedes estar en una protesta, no puedes estar movilizándote si estás mal y tenemos que cuidarnos uno al otro. ¿Ok? Otra vez, si tienen más preguntas, por favor, pónganlas en el chat Y con eso voy a dejar que Etos continúe. Go ahead, Etos.
I was like, yes, I know to continue. I was like, I need to practice my Spanish also. We all do. We all get the opportunity tonight, which is really cool. I'm like, ooh, I didn't know. Ooh, jugliar. I'm like, got that. Um, oops. I don't want to change host. I want to spotlight myself again. Okay. Hi, everybody. We back. I want to make sure I keep eye on the chat. Let's continue. Nationwide shutdown this Friday. And let's grow to have it be longer. Talk to your unions. Because they should, if they didn't give away your strike power, there should be some strike money for you. Because that's why you pay your dues. Anyways, I have a whole feeling about that. Anyways, we're continuing on. ABCs. Now we're going to get into it. So I just gave you the outline, and then I like to go into it. It's kind of how my pedagogy is. And so now the ABCs: airway, breathing, circulation. Assess the airway. Is it open? And we would say open and patent. Trying to keep things simple though for our non-healthcare folks. And so there's multiple ways to open up the airway. You're gonna have to look it up on your own. Unfortunately, there's too much content and not enough time, and you guys not here in person to do the skills part. There's so much content online to teach you how to open up a good airway. There's 2 methods. And it's important actually. So breathing, are they breathing? Is it shallow and deep? And how many times per minute? We're going to keep that super soon. That's super easy. That's it. Are they breathing? Is it shallow or deep? And how many times a minute? And how many times do we do it? How do we read the respiratory rate? Watch the chest rise and fall for 15 seconds. Count how many times the respiration is happening in that 15 seconds. Times it by 4. That's your respiratory rate per minute. And what is the normal rate of your respiratory rate? It's between 12 and 24. You're hyperventilating at 24 and you're hypoventilating under 12. Under 8, you need a bag and help them breathe. CAB happens when you're in a trauma. We're talking about more medicals right now. Don't worry, we'll get into a trauma assessment at the end. And then circulation. Do they have a pulse? What are their skin signs? Are there any major bleeding? So anytime that you may even have a hypoglycemic or anxious patient, those are more than likely, well, it depends on where you are. Unfortunately, if you're facing the ice, you will probably be dealing with a lot more traumas, which is why I get into traumas. But if you're just at a rally or protest, you may have a medical. Every time that you touch a patient's opportunity to check pulse, to practice these things, check their breathing. You don't even have to like stare at them intently. You just could be talking to them, just like trying to calm down someone who's having an anxiety attack, and just watch their breathing and practice. Yeah, so for breathing, your chest rises and falls when you naturally breathe. Like you're gonna start watching people breathe now. You're also gonna, like for me, when I became a medic, I started looking at people's veins, and it rises and falls. Not that dramatically sometimes. Sometimes just a little bit. Sometimes you just see it in the belly. But it's just an observation that you're making. Unless they're unconscious, then you can see them a little bit better. Count for 15 seconds, times it by 4. That's your respiratory rate for 1 minute. I'm trying to censor myself. I'm not good at it. Circulation and pulse. Okay, so circulation, do they have a pulse? What are their skin signs? What are our normal skin signs? Let's replace pink with pigmented. Pigmented sounds good. I don't know. We're figuring out the language together. I don't know. Do they have, what are their skin signs? Are they, I'm sorry, but pink, warm, and dries is stuck in me. That's what they have drilled in my head, but we know that that's racist. And is there any major bleeding? But that's when we get into trauma, and as someone mentioned, that switches to CAB. Or if they're not breathing, that switches to CAB, which is circulation, airway, breathing. I wish I could speak my truth, but we all know that surveillance is highly possible. So, not on a live stream. Vital signs. So, this can all be done very, very quickly, by the way. And you have a partner that can help you grab equipment. I highly recommend is everyone have a pulse oximeter. It's like $30 at your local pharmacy. It's really easy. Unless their fingers are too cold, then it doesn't really like it. So you'd have to warm up their finger or just give up on it. But you just slide it on and it'll tell you their respiratory rate, which you should still count manually by yourself and not rely on a machine, especially because pulse oximeters are also racist because they're collaborated on male hued skin. So they don't read quite accurately more melanin skin. So keep that in mind. Appropriate even tone. Thank you. I love that. It sounds like peds. Peds scare me in the field. I won't lie. I like that. Appropriate even tone. Appropriate even tone, warm and dry. I'm gonna integrate that. Thank you for that. So take the blood pressure, put a pulse oximeter on. Always ask consent. Hey, is it okay if I take your vital signs right now? Sorry, y'all. You guys are hilarious in the comments. And put the pulse. And so once again, if the rule is a 90. If it's above, if our systolic blood pressure is above 90, whew, good. If it's below 90, not good. We're no good. If the pulse, so then now we have a normal pulse here. Our normal pulse is between 60 to 100. That is not correct. 60 to 100. 60 to 100. A pulse above 150 is unstable. We're not going to worry about the rest of it because we're walking, we're in action, but above 150 can be dangerous and a pulse below 60, really bad. I don't know who put 120 there, but it must have been me a long time ago, and shame on me for that. Not really. We love ourselves here, and we forget ourselves. We'll update the slide. Honestly, someone asked if the BEP cuff it's portable. It really depends on your situational awareness. Sometimes you won't even be able to have time to get a blood pressure, and you just need to get out of there. So yeah, sometimes you have time. Sometimes it's unnecessary. A lot of this is going to be based on your judgment. So from all of this together, we can determine if someone's big or little sick. Is the patient little stable sick or big unstable sick? If they are unstable, you need a higher level of care. You need to radio to your medic team and get someone who has a little bit more experience or higher level of care. And you need to be prepared to call 911 to get an ambulance out. Which we know there's a lot of things I've been thinking about there, and I would love to have a lot of dialogue with street medics and other people who do safety for protests around that, especially as a 911 person. So checking for a pulse can be difficult, especially if it's cold and the pulse is weak. So like what? So if you're nervous, don't bother. If they're breathing, they have a pulse, and if they're not breathing, they're gonna lose their pulse very quickly. So keep that in mind. Like, as you can see, there's different ways to approach the assessment once as you're out in the field. So when you are going to, sorry, 160 to 100. Normal heart rate is 60 to 100. That's your normal range. 100 is when you're going to tachycardia or fast heart rate, and then below 60 is going to be your bradycardia. That's when you have a slow heart rate, and that's what we would consider abnormal. Mind you, I'm curious how all this would change if we included people of all intersectionalities, but that's besides the point. So if you're in a situation where someone's unresponsive or you're in a hot scene, extraction might be the first thing that you do. If it's like you're at a rally and someone's a little bit hypoglycemic, a little sweaty and clammy and needs some candy, you might take the time and ask for consent every single time. Hey, is it okay if I do this? Is it okay if I do this? Consent, 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 consent. I'm big on consent in my ambulance, and I actually teach a lot of my patients that they can say no, which a lot of them don't know that. Rescue position. This is huge. It's actually a pathophysiology where it actually relieves pressure off of your stomach. I can't tell you more than that right now. My brain can't remember the rest of it. So the rescue position is a position that protects a patient's airway while they're unconscious. They lay on their side with their mouth open, their neck is stretched so the structures of their throat let airflow. Their mouth is at the lowest point of their body, so liquid like spit, blood, or vomit can flow out. Continuously monitor your patient's breathing until they fully regain consciousness. Agreed. Please don't make up blood pressure numbers. It's okay to say, I can't get it. Can someone else try to get it? That's like the thing I think about EMS that I wish we had more of is humility of like, dude, I can't do this. Can you get this too? Yeah. Thank you all. This rescue positions everything: overdoses, seizures. Anytime you think someone's drunk in a alcohol-induced coma, what we call ETOH. Because essentially, if someone inhales their aspiration or their vomit, it is fatal. It could kill them. So this is why the rescue position is great. If you ever are nauseous yourself, going on your left side will help relieve some pressure. I do it whenever I am a little nauseous. So dragging. Just real quick, this is how we can distract people. It's all about gripping. So if you do jujitsu, it's helpful to know, but you want to always like, I wish if we were in person, we would actually be dragging and doing this in person. ETOH is altered on a substance, not just alcohol. But we say that because we can't determine that without blood tests, and that would be diagnosing a patient, and we make differentials as medics. Biggest thing is sometimes we may need to extract quickly. So learning firefighter carries is going to be really, really important, and then how to teamwork it. And this is something that you could train with a local street medic pod that you could create at home. Ethanol. Sorry, you guys are a little funny on the chat. You can look up firefighter carries to study this more. Compression only CPR, which is us. BLS. BLS CPR is just as good as ALS CPR because it's all the same, except ALS gets IV access and get meds and all that stuff. But the core part of CPR is BLS. We call it basic life saving. Everyone can do it. You can even take a BLS CPR course near you and be certified and be able to provide first aid in different places with AHA. So this is really simple. I'm not going to go over it right now. There's so many courses out there because I want to get to trauma, but it is important. So your patient's not breathing and doesn't have a pulse. You need to begin compressions. Actually, we're finding that airway doesn't need to be addressed as quickly as other people, so you don't need to do mouth to mouth. It's actually about good quality CPR. That means 2 inches deep, and I won't lie, I still do it. I go staying alive, staying alive. I really do. I really do still sing it in my head. I don't dance, but I'm like helps me keep pace. There's many songs that are CPR songs that you can keep in your head too. They're all over the nursing reels, like Nurse John, and then have a lot of fun with that one. So place your hands at the bottom of the bone in the chest, lock your elbows, and I won't lie, trigger warning, you will crack a sternum. It is not fun. It is very traumatic. CPR is very traumatic. All right, so give 100 compressions per minute. Once again, staying alive. Compressions is 2 to 2.5 inches. You may hear crack. See, once again, you may break a sternum. No, you will. Do not stop until an ambulance arrives or a scene becomes safe. If you have a team there, you'll be rotating out every 2 minutes. Literally, I'm telling you, good quality bystander CPR that happens right away can save a life. And I've seen it happen multiple times in my career, in my short career. 30 compressions to 2 breaths. Check ABCs every 2 minutes. I even now carry I got it gifted. I have like what do you call them? I can't remember the masks that go over. So you can do mouth to mouth, but I also always have a BVM. So if you do know CPR songs, throw it in the chat. Like I think like Get Low is one. All right, wounds. We'll go into stopping the bleed a lot later in a lot more detail. So let's just go ahead and get through. We're going to go through that. Burns, we're not going to worry about that right now. You can look that up. We have a lot to get through. Heat illnesses, it's winter. But in the summer, we do sometimes deal with heat illnesses. There's a difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke. And mostly the difference between that is that altered mental status. And some people do sweat, some people stop sweating. It's usually heat stroke takes a long time for it to accumulate, and we'll mostly see it in our unhoused relatives. But we will see heat cramps and heat exhaustion from our comrades. So there you go. To rehydrate, we call it passive cooling, fanning. You can soak like your kofia in water and also get water on them that way. This thing, I've thought of so many MacGyver things that we could do with this beautiful scarf in the streets. They also need electrolytes. So I know that our harm reduction comrades, they always have electrolytes on them. So that will be important, and not gulping, but slow sips and hydration. Sorry, I won't lie. I haven't been looking at the chat. I'm just trying to move this along. So thank you, everybody. So hypothermia, something that you all will be dealing with in Minnesota. I won't lie. I don't have a lot of experience with it, except for working up in Tahoe for a couple festivals. So it's just like when the core temperature drops very, very low. And it's really important that their clothes are wet. You need to remove them, and you start putting dry clothes on, warm water bottles and cloth, and anything to start heating the patient back up slowly, is a way to help with hypothermia. Once again, you can look this up a little bit more. I really want to get us to trauma. And then this is just like a basic first aid kit that Riot Medicine talks about. I'm going to talk a little bit more about an idea I have called street medic pods, where people have different packs so we all can carry a little bit of the ambulance with us, essentially. And this is a good place to start. It's a wonderful place to start. So screenshot real quick. I did not go over pediatric CPR. It's pretty much the same thing. It's just different where you put your hands depending on the size of the infant or the child, and with increased compressions, 30 to 2. All right, so I think by now we should be able to, so I will say, like, let's be clear. We're not here to be a hero. Like, I feel sad that we even have to gather and meet each other this way. So a good day is when our pack never opens. That's our goal. Is our pack never opens and everyone walks home and gets home safe. So let's really center that here. And so this is a great place to start. Things are a little bit different in Minnesota right now. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But your goal is to never open your pack, never have to use any of your supplies, and everyone goes home safe. Not here to do heroics, not here to save nobody, not here to look cool, not here to get famous. We're here to tell people and go home. So so I go over opioid overdose a little bit. This is important. It happens all the time. I always carry Narcan with me. So these are the 4 things that you look for: possibility of opioid use or tainted drug use, decreased respiratory drive or respiratory rate. So what's our normal respiratory rate? 12 to 20. When someone isn't breathing well or having an opioid crisis or overdose, their breathing is going to decrease. And when do we have to start breathing for our patients? Below 8. Below 8, start bagging. Decrease altered mental status or unresponsive, and then pinpoint pupils. That's how we can treat an overdose. And our only antidote that we have in emergency medicine is Narcan. One thing I will say about Narcan is that, and naloxone, that people don't talk about, they're like, oh, it's safe. You can pump them up as much as you want. Not true. Actually, if you pump up people with too much Narcan, if it's someone that is uses substances more regularly, you can wake them up and make them very mad and get assaulted, or you can make them go into withdrawals, which are fatal. And not only that, you can make someone have flash pulmonary edema and have them drown in their own liquids. So you only want to use enough. Not a lot of people talk about this in Narcan training, but I want to give you guys the full facts of how to use things. But you just need. Okay, Spanish break. Okay, after this, after the Narcan, we'll do a Spanish break. Thank you guys for asking for what you need. So please only use enough Narcan to where their respiratory rate is back to normal or increased. So what is that again? What's our respiratory rate? Normal rate is between 12 and 20. Above 20 is hyperventilating. Below 12 is hypoventilating. Below 8, you need to breathe for them. And how do you check someone's respiratory rate? Check there for chest rise and fall. And you count it for 15 seconds times times 4. That's your respiratory rate for 1 minute. And so now we're going to do Spanish translation. Thank you guys for asking for what you need.
Ya volví. Quitar mis lentes porque no veo la pantalla muy bien. Bueno, se reflexiona la pantalla de mis lentes. Ok. Entonces, lo que estamos hablando es de tratamiento básico para ayudarle a la gente cuando no esté respirando. Después de que checamos sus vías aéreas, obviamente ya sabemos, ok, ¿están respirando o no están respirando? Queremos checar un pulso, obviamente a veces es muy difícil tomar un pulso porque el pulso puede ser débil, especialmente si uno está nervioso. Podemos sentir nuestro propio pulso, pero tenemos que saber si están respirando. Probablemente tienen un pulso. Si no hay respiración, el pulso se puede perder rápidamente y es cuando tenemos que empezar a tomar nuestro entrenamiento de emergencia más serio, ¿no? Queremos mover a las personas a la posición de rescate que protege la vía aérea de esa persona si no están conscientes. Los acostamos de lado con la boca abierta y con el cuello estrecho para que si algo fuera a pasar, por ejemplo, se vomitan o algo del estilo, tienen sangre o algo así, no se vayan a ahogar, ¿ok? Am, Luego tenemos que también anticipar, como ya les dije anteriormente, si tenemos que mover a nuestro paciente, queremos asegurarnos de que primero los pongamos de espalda y luego los muevamos a una posición como si estuvieran sentados. Después de hacer eso, ponemos nuestros brazos debajo de las axilas de esa persona, ponemos nuestras manos en su pecho y así de esa manera los levantamos usando nuestras piernas y no nuestra espalda, obviamente, para no lastimar a nosotros. Cuando los levantemos y los vuelvamos a poner en el suelo, por favor no dejen que su cabeza esté balbuceando o que caigan fuerte. Cuando hacemos compresiones, solamente las hacemos cuando nuestro paciente no está respirando. Y esto es cuando lo estamos haciendo sin ventilación y sin respiración boca a boca, ¿ok? Si tienes un teléfono, es preferido que le hables al 911 y que los pongas con tu celular al lado para que te estén dando instrucciones en cómo proceder. Si están muy lejos o no pueden llegar inmediatamente o hay bloques por la protesta o lo que sea, bloqueos en la calle, digo, es necesario a veces tomar acción. Entonces, vamos a poner nuestras manos cerca de la parte de abajo del pecho, ¿ok? So, por aquí, supongo, ¿no? Es lo que, no todo el mundo estamos iguales, pero más o menos donde está el corazón un poquito abajo. Después de hacer eso, tenemos que dar 100 compresiones cada minuto. Hay diferentes canciones que pueden usarse. Por ejemplo, hay la canción súper popular, la de Staying Alive. Esa es una canción muy popular para la cual hacer compresiones. Am, a veces puedes oír un sonido que te quede así como que, ¿qué fue eso? Ah, es probablemente que sean las costillas que están reaccionando a esa compresión, es normal. No pares hasta que llegue una ambulancia en la escena, ¿ok? Acuérdate que 30 compresiones, 2 respiraciones y siempre queremos checar si están respirando, si hay pulso, cada 2 minutos, ¿ok? Eso hay que decir como cada 6 ciclos. Si tienen en una herida y necesitas dejar o parar que la sangre que está fluyendo, antes de hacer eso, asegúrate que rápidamente limpies la herida y le pongas algo para dejar, ay Dios mío, disculpen, para dejar que, es que estoy literalmente leyendo todo esto en inglés y tratando de rápidamente traducir. Entonces, quieren parar el flujo de sangre, limpien la herida y luego envuélvanlo, ¿ok? Con una banda, una gasa, lo que tengan a la mano. No trates tú de quitar algo. Hay que decir, hay una bala, no trates de quitar la bala. Especialmente si hay algo que está como enterrado dentro de la persona, no la saques, es mejor dejarlo ahí, porque a veces sacar eso puede causar más daño de lo que anticipen, ¿ok? Entonces, después de hacer todo eso, hay que decir que yo estoy herida aquí. Levantamos la herida sobre la cabeza, ¿ok? Y le aplicamos presión. Si la herida sangra y sigue sangrando y puedes ver que la banda que tú le pusiste, la gasa, lo que le hayas puesto para parar el flujo de sangre, no está funcionando, quita eso para que, bueno, quieres asegurar que si lo estás quitando es solamente para aplicar más, ¿ok? Déjenme dejar eso claro. No quieres quitar todo completamente porque si lo quitan todo completamente, eso previene que se coagule la herida y queremos que se coagule, ¿verdad? Para que deja el flujo de sangre termine. Para heridas más pequeñas, pues, obviamente las podemos limpiar así, como si nos hubiéramos raspado en una caída o algo así. Podemos ponerle Neosporin, cualquier crema antiséptica, algo por el estilo, un curita, algo así. En general, si alguien tiene una quemada, queremos quitar lo que los quemó de la proximidad del paciente, ¿no? Quítenle anillos, pulseras y si tienen cualquier tipo de edema que se está formando debajo de la piel, por favor no vayan a reventarlos, ¿ok? Am, Cualquier quemada que sea causada por temperatura necesita ser rápidamente atendida y tienen que aplicarle algo que no esté cálido, que esté más fresco para bajar el ardor de esa herida. Pueden usar agua tibia, y quitarle la ropa a la persona si, por ejemplo, están llenos de químicos, porque estamos hablando también de, pues, hemos visto que están usando mucho los químicos, am, ay, ¿cómo se dice? Los químicos lacrimógenos que causan, o también en inglés se puede decir tear gas. Entonces, por esa razón queremos quitar la ropa, si esa es la razón de la quemadura, queremos desvestir a la persona y quitarles ese químico de encima. Si hay material que se ha derretido en la piel o que se ha convertido en uno, no quiten eso, por favor. No quieren quitar ningún material que sea adherido a la piel. Otra vez, pongan solamente una crema antiséptica, gasa, am, lo que puedan ponerle, como si fuera una herida normal, pero no quiten nada, no despegue nada, ¿ok? Queremos otra vez, volviendo al tema de las quemaduras químicas, por favor, asegúrense de usar poquita agua para desplegar el químico de la piel o del área afectada, ¿ok? Mucha agua como por 20 minutos, así como si fueran estar en un lugar donde se quemen los ojos, inmediatamente van y se lavan los ojos con agua. Es lo mismo que queremos hacer en esas situaciones, ¿ok? Tal vez si tienen lentes de contacto también se los tengan que quitar, pero asegúrense que si lo hacen no tengan nada en las manos. Am, si han inhalado gases tóxicos, pueden tener daño en las vías aéreas o en los pulmones. Entonces, pueden tener dificultad respirando y a lo mejor no tienen conocimiento. Eso es algo que tienes que estar súper atento, ¿no? Tenemos que estar atento a si están respirando bien cuando uno está alrededor de estos químicos, inhalándonos y todo. Si la persona se ve confundida, si se le ve como que la mentalidad medio alterada, es obvio que van a necesitar a un doctor. Acuérdense que a veces el calor también nos puede hacer que nos den calambres, que nos dé fatiga, que nos desmayemos. Entonces tienen que estar conscientes de también que el ambiente también nos puede afectar, no solamente lo que está pasando alrededor de nosotros, las balas, el gas. em, si hace calor, podemos sufrir. Si hace mucho frío, también podemos sufrir. Si ven personas en el frío y están mojadas, quiten la ropa, traten de moverlos, darles calor. Si hay alguien en una situación con mucho calor, queremos proveerles agua, moverlos a un lugar donde haya sombra. Ahí se me están cerrando Ok. Ay, disculpen, se me cerró mi presentación. Ethos, my slides just kind of closed, but I think I'm almost there actually, so maybe we'll be okay. Disculpen, se me cerró la presentación, pero está bien porque ya estoy casi terminando. So, básicamente lo que queremos, con lo que quiero terminar este corto plazo de la presentación, es que necesitamos tener siempre con nosotros mascarillas, guantes, curitas, tal vez gel, crema antiséptica. Queremos tener gasa, queremos tener am, adhesivo médico, queremos tener alcohol, queremos tener mascarillas, no sé si ya lo dice, ibuprofeno, aspirina, acetaminofén, cosas así que nos ayuden en cualquier situación de emergencia, ¿no? Entonces, con eso yo creo que he terminado de platicar sobre todo lo que platicó Etos. Otra vez, si tienen preguntas, por favor pónganlos en el chat. Aquí estoy para contestar cualquier pregunta que tengan. How are you?
Sorry, did your slides disappear on you?
Yes, they did, but I
Okay.
was just about done.
Let me. Oh, that's why. Oh, well. Sorry, everybody. Technical difficulties. Something happened. It's been weird. Someone tried to hack me once as I hit a certain number of followers today. It was really interesting. So sorry, guys. Lost our slides. We're about to get to the good. So just finishing on ODs, just real quick. Same thing. ESI scene safety. What's your general impression of the scene and of your patient? Be careful in this one, particularly with exposed needles and of your environment. I wouldn't particularly recommend kneeling down unless you absolutely had to. And then your ABCs. What's your ABCs again, everybody? Airway, breathing, circulation. Airway. Is it open and patent? Breathing. Are they breathing? Is it shallow or deep? And how many times a minute? Every time that you do that, you're going to check for chest rise and fall. Count it for 15 seconds. Times it by 4. That's your respiratory rate for a minute. Normal respiratory rate is 12 to 20. Anything above or below, we would consider abnormal. Your pulse. Is there a pulse? How many times per minute? We're going to hold down We're going to count it for 15 seconds, times it by 4. That's your pulse for a minute. 60 to 100 is what we consider normal. Above 100 is tachycardic. Below 60 is bradycardic. All right. So this one is opioid overdose. You may have to assist their ventilations. It's common that their respiratory drive goes down due to the opioid receptors being blocked. All right, everybody, good. This is where we really is. This is what we need to get into. Trauma. First off, trauma is BLS all day long. So we're gonna get into bleeding, controlling the bleed, penetrating traumas, and particularly gunshot wounds. So I really pathophysiology and like imagining it, like what was that 90s show where we were inside the body and it says like osmosis or whatever? I think of it like that and I like play with it like that to make it make sense. And so I try to break down how the clotting factors work for you so you can understand why applying pressure works. So first you have blood platelets that rush to the cut. That's why you start bleeding everywhere. They're sticky. And they try to cover the hole, and there's like a clotting factor that sends messages to each other. Like our bodies are always communicating. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, Osmosis Jones and the Magic School, dude. Magic School Bus, fire. Talk about having a lesbian role model back then that wasn't out. Anyway, sorry. And then so then their factors sending messages to each other, and these messages are like, "Hey, we need more." That's how we keep bleeding. And then our body's like, "Whoa, we need more. What's going on? We need to close this up. It's not closing up." And then the clotting factors are like, "Okay, we need to build a net, and it's called fibrin." And so it needs to create this like spider-like web to like really stop the bleed. And that net gets tighter and harder as that clotting factor continues with the fibrin. And then the clot stays until the skin heals, which we call scarring. And we all have had a cut. We all seen this process. Hopefully more venous than arterial, which we'll get into in a second. And then the pathophysiology of applying pressure, because like for me, I need to know why. Like, why does applying pressure work? Because then I could get creative with it and also be like more intelligent about it. Like, oh, I can see where like that bullet projector like trajectory where it hit the body and where I can, because they actually go over bullet trajectory a little bit in paramedic school and also a lot in the military. And so, and based on the caliber that I can assume that the weapon is, what is the damage that's going to be done on the inside and where do I need to pack that wound? So I'm not going to be able to show you how to pack wounds on this, but Stop the Bleed has plenty of online interactive courses that will teach you how to actually pack the wound. I'm just giving you your assessment, your skills, but then you got to go out and study and practice with pods, organize, build a community, build trust, establish your values and your principles together so you're on the same page and that there's accountability to be had. So you're not experiencing the harm that I'm experiencing from my local community right now. So pressure slows down slows the blood down because we are acting almost as that fibrin and applying pressure. And like, here's the thing. I was really gentle when I first started in emergency. I was like, oh, so soft. But then when I actually felt what it needed to take to stop bleeds, even on myself, they made us put on a tourniquet appropriately. It hurts. And so I tell my patient, like, hey, this is going to hurt. And it's going to hurt. And that's how much pressure you need to apply. So when you're pressing the cut, the blood can't rush out as fast. So the body gets a chance to start fixing that hole and start their clotting factors. Platelets stick together to the wounded area. So these are like, the platelets are like your little tiny helpers and they grab onto the broken vessel and each other and pressure helps them stay in place instead of getting washed away. A sticky patch starts to form. That sticky patch. And then clotting factors build that strong net, fibrin. And the net becomes a firm clot that blocks the bleeding. So when the clot is strong, the bleeding stops. For my medics, this is why we don't turn blood into Kool-Aid. For me, I'm telling myself that. We don't need to overperfuse because what they need is blood product. So there are two types of bleeding, venous and arterial. Venous is slow and oozy, dark and red is what we most know and experience. What we can do, folks, is like if I have someone also watching, oh, thank you guys. I love teaching. It's been really since I don't feel safe out on the streets. Unfortunately, So I decided to teach to try to help, and I appreciate you all for that. And so dark red is your unoxygenated blood. It's blue. That's why, well, not really, but you know, we like to think it as we like to associate colors. It's dark red. And arterial is spurting. Sometimes it even has a pulse to it because it's attached to your heart rate, and it's oxygenated bright blood. Bright red, if I can talk. So how to control a venous external bleed? By the way, I try to like mix up like making things accessible, but also treating you all like you're intelligent. So venous external bleeds, apply direct pressure, raise and elevate the extremity above the heart. Like when I almost chopped off my finger in the kitchen, going like this and pressing really, really hard for a really, really long time, finally got it to clot, even though I probably should have gone a butterfly bandage on it. Use a snug bandage or wrap to keep the pressure on the wound. Remove bandaging if it can. Do not. Oh my God. I was like, wait, that's wrong. Do not remove bandaging if bleeding continues. Pack the wound. This is normally what I ask. Healthcare workers don't give away the answer. But why don't we want to remove the wound based off of our pathophysiology? Right? So clotting factors. Blood is splurting everywhere. We apply pressure. It starts being sticky and creating the net of fibrin. And then if we remove it, because it's sticky, well, we just, excuse my language, but fucked up the clotting factor. And I have to start all over. And now we have to worry about the blood pressure. No, that's for us medics. Don't worry about that right now. Do not use a tourniquet for venous bleeds. Please don't. Enough pressure will stop it, hopefully. And if it continues to bleed, I did have to use it for a tourniquet for someone who got their finger shot off, and when it stops. So there's that. Exactly. You're gonna rip off your clot. Don't rip your clot. Work so hard for it. All right, controlling an arterial bleed. It is bloody. It is, wow, it's dramatic. It's the movies. Remain calm, even if you're not on the inside. It's what we call a duck in water. So like when you see a duck in water, you're just like, oh, they're chilling, like above water. But underneath, they're like, that's us. We are ducks in water. Calm and cool on the outside, but man, am I like freaking out on the inside. And that's okay, but we got to get to work. So direct pressure until it stops. And I mean a lot. Once again, it will hurt. It is not going to feel good. And either the fact that I have to like apply pressure, it already probably doesn't feel good. So at least you're going to stop bleeding. Bandage and pack the wound. And by what I mean pack the wound is like, as you reassess every 2 minutes from a bleed, if it's just a cut, you don't need to reassess. But if it's like a bleed that worries you and is a little bit more on a traumatic side, that you're worried about, you need to check every 2 minutes. If you see that it's still seeping through, you need to apply more pressure on there. I hate that the one bandage is named after Zionists. Really makes me mad. But unfortunately, I don't even want to say the word, but they who shall not be named bandage actually has like a little thing that I don't even know how to call it. It's like a little plastic bar that you would apply that pressure on the wound, and then you would wrap it tight, and that would apply more pressure for you so you can move on from your patient. But little known fact, gauze was invented in Gaza. Don't know if you guys knew that. I learned that. So do not remove layers of bandaging. Pack the wound with a new dressing and more pressure. I like it. Gaza bandage. Call it Gaza bandage. I'm with it. Pressure bandage. Thank you, everybody. And there's many different pressure bandages though that exist out there, but we're not getting into the nitty gritty of that. And if you haven't used it, I don't recommend buying it and wasting your money. Only carry things that you know how to use or that you know your other comrades know how to use, because otherwise you're wasting your money on things that people could use in your kit otherwise. Pressure bar bandage. I like the ideas. Yeah, free Palestine, always and forever. Do not remove layers. Pack the wound with new dressings and more pressure. When do I use a tourniquet? This is for severe life-threatening bleeds from the arm or leg, amputations, avulsions, things that just won't stop bleeding no matter what you do, and you need to fix something. I got mine right here. Have my pack over there. This is a little bit of a fancier one. I like these a lot because it clips. And these are like ones that you can do yourself. I don't even have it set up for me to use properly. So your tourniquet is for your arterial bleeds, your amputations, some severe things that you just need to wrap and go. Quick clot is still a thing. Hemodynamics are great. I think I go into that a little bit later. So I have to unlock it to show you guys. Spanish translation soon. Got you. Let me finish showing you guys how to use a tourniquet and we'll do a translation. All right. First off, you always want to have your tourniquet and your gear prepped so you can just whip it out and use it. And also makes you feel, I feel cool when I do that. So you want to like have it, I have it set up usually like this. Yeah, no, quick clot is great. Actually, at Burning Man, someone hit a really hard bump and went over his handlebars, and it pierced his gut. And someone was carrying one of our medics were carrying a quick clot, packed the wound with the quick clot and the hemodynamics. Honestly, probably saved his life, to be real, because it was right by the femoral. It was really close. Anyway, so this is your tourniquet. You're always going to put it 2 inches above the wound, above the joint and above the wound. Usually if it's an arm, you might as well just go all the way up and you're going to crank, crank, crank. Like, this is going to hurt. And usually this one, I usually feed it through, but we don't have that much time. This hurts. I'm like literally losing my feeling in my arm already. And I would tell him like, hey, this hurts. Make your video larger instead of the slides. Okay. I got you guys. Thank you. Stop share. There we go. Oh, God, hurts. You see my arm's already churning, and I haven't even cranked it yet. It's called a windlass, I believe. I'm pulling everything from memory right now. All right. So I like this one because I can administer it to myself if I really need it. And by the way, it's really important to look at the dynamics of official tourniquet. It's fuck. Oh, ow. And so somehow I'm gonna get it in here by myself. Ugh. And then I'm gonna secure it. Woo. Sorry, my arm's going numb already. That means it's good. And by then, the way you could check on you want to practice this so you can feel how tight it needs to be. If I check my pulse, I have no pulse. And then after you apply this tourniquet, you want to note the time, which usually there's a one right there. I gotta get this off me. Sorry, this one's really tight. Oh, thank God. Ow. And if you're applying it right and practicing it with the right, it should break the skin. You should know what it feels like, what you're going to do to your patients with tourniquets and other things. You should do it to yourself and to your comrades and know how to probably use it. But essentially, 2 to 3 inches above the wound, tighten if the bleeding stops. You can use a belt, anything like that can create that windlass. Kafia you could probably use, and like with a stick. Because the point is like as you twist the stick, it tightens. See like how like this is tightening. You can use that, your belt. There's lots of options. Be creative with it. You get creative with some of this stuff. So if you can't afford a tourniquet, get a belt. Whew, that hurt. But I did it right. So there's that. So we're gonna pause here so you guys can do a thank you. God, there's so many tourniquet options, but to be really honest, for us, I would just like any tourniquet's good, but there's one I can't remember. I think it's a Sam that's stretchy and it forms on itself. I think that'd be the easiest. Crank it, soldier. You guys are hilarious. I really let's do a Spanish translation. Let me find you.
Sorry, I had to feed my dogs.
Hey, make sure everyone's feeding their dogs and their cats. As far as my cat hasn't shown and said hi to you all yet. Hang on. Why can't I spotlight you? Why? Oh, it's because I'm not spotlighted. We're almost to the end. We're about to finish up. I'm gonna get in gunshot wounds. We have about an hour left. which will be at the 3 hour mark. I think I let you know that 2 to 3 hours. Why can't I highlight? Where's the highlight? Oh, I don't need to highlight you. I just need to pin you. Sorry, we're not sharing.
It's okay. Okay, just turning on additional lighting. My house is really dark. Nope, that's not it. Sorry, everyone. I have a lot of buttons. There we go.
We're very human over here.
Yes.
This is not a professional production.
Ok, volviendo al tema. So, primero que nada, quiero tocar ya que sabemos qué equipo tenemos que tener, no mencioné la naloxona, yo creo que también se dice en español, pero es básicamente una droga que, sí, naloxona, que usamos cuando alguien desafortunadamente tiene un evento de sobredosis. Es el único es la única antídota en medicina para tratar este caso. Y básicamente también es algo súper importante que traer con nosotros cuando estamos tratando de ser médicos de brigada, ¿no? Porque claro que estamos basando este entrenamiento para poder ayudarnos ahorita con lo que está sucediendo, pero eso no significa que no podemos también educarlos en cómo ayudarle a la gente que no tiene dónde vivir, a personas que em, necesitan asistencia durante tiempos de frío, de calor y desafortunadamente durante tiempos difíciles que ellos tienen que resultan en una sobredosis, ¿no? So, que queremos saber lo mismo con un paciente así, están respirando, tienen pulso, saben dónde están y tienen que tener mucho cuidado con la naloxona porque a veces la gente piensa que la naloxona es así como que puedes darle lo que sea para levantarlos. Ese no es el caso. Si tú le das mucha naloxona a una persona, eso puede causar que esa persona entre en am, estrés tan intenso que se levanten y tal vez estén agresivos, te quieran atacar o se confundan más. También pueden entrar en abstinencia, en síndrome de abstinencia, ¿no? Como cuando alguien obviamente cuando alguien tiene una adicción y se la quitas de repente a cualquier sustancia a la que esté adicto y pues les puede dar malestar. Am, entonces, no queremos causar ningún síntoma negativo y por eso queremos solamente darles de saber que atacarle a alguien un chorro de naloxona no siempre ayuda o resuelve el problema. Ahora que ya platicamos sobre eso y pues ya saben qué traer con ustedes y que eso también puede pasar, queremos hablar sobre heridas que son causadas por trauma, ¿no? O cómo controlar cuando alguien esté sangrando mucho, am, si fueron disparados, desafortunadamente, es algo que tenemos que enfrentar, si des- de una manera apuñalaron con algo. Entonces, queremos asegurar que siempre estemos con presión. Tenemos que ponerle presión a cualquier herida que esté sangrando. Si es una herida que está sangrando profusamente, queremos ponerle una torniqueta. Yo sé que a veces es difícil tener una torniqueta, no todo el mundo tenemos una torniqueta en nuestras vidas, ¿verdad? Yo no tengo, pero podemos usar un cinto y si van a estos lugares, a estas escenas, tal vez sea una buena idea traer un cinto puesto para si necesitan aplicarle presión o ponerle una torniqueta a alguien, quitarse el cinto y amarrarlo y ponerle toda la presión que ustedes necesiten, ¿ok? Trátenlo en ustedes primero antes de hacérselo a otra persona, trátenlo con sus colegas, con personas que están interesadas en este tipo de educación, solamente para que sepan lo que están haciendo. A veces no es posible, pero si es posible, pregúntenle a su paciente, ¿está bien si te hago esto? Sí, claro, está bien si te muevo, está bien si... Siempre queremos consentimiento, pero a veces no es posible, especialmente en situaciones súper extremas. Entonces, estar preparado con ese tipo de herramientas es a veces súper importante. Bueno, no a veces, siempre es importante. Am, es difícil, es estresante, es traumático. Traten de mantener calma. Acuérdense que la energía que ustedes están poniendo en el mundo, su paciente la puede sentir y ya van a estar asustados, van a estar en un nivel de pelea o de querer huir. Queremos asegurarnos de que todo esté lo más calmado y controlado que se pueda estar en un tipo de situación así, ¿no? Entonces, solo quieren usar la torniqueta cuando en realidad esté un flujo sanguíneo súper fuerte. Por ejemplo, si se cortan el brazo, ya ven que tenemos unas arterias aquí. Si se cortan la pierna, la arteria femoral que está cerca de baja por la cadera, cerca de la ingle. Siempre queremos poner la torniqueta como 2 o 3 pulgadas arriba de la herida y cuando la estén apretando, apriétenla hasta que ya no sangre. Y a veces hasta van a decir, ay, se está poniendo blanco el brazo, pero es que eso es lo que tiene que pasar. Y siempre tomen nota del tiempo que la aplicaron. Cuando hay una herida causada por una bala, am, la manera en la que se trata es muy diferente en la que se trataría una herida superficial, ¿no? Entonces eso también es algo que tener en cuenta. Ya les dije, por favor, no traten de sacar la bala, de sacar cualquier otra cosa que se les haya empuñalado. No, no, no traten de quitar nada. Ay, se me fue otra vez. Y yo creo que hasta ahí hemos llegado. No quiero seguir si es lo que... Sí, hasta ahí hemos llegado. Entonces, aquí es donde va a continuar Ethos y luego yo otra vez volveré. ¿Ok? Otra vez, preguntas, comentarios, pónganlos aquí. Gracias.
All right, let's continue on. I believe we're getting pretty close to the end. Thank you all for bearing with me. Honestly, like this is normally like for me, I would make it a 6 hour training where we have like 3 hours of lecture and then 2 hours of skills and scenarios. But yeah, I don't know how to do that virtually with all y'all that signed up. So this is just gonna be a lecture, and then you're gonna have a responsibility to train and practice with your comrades back home and to research a little bit more. Also, one thing too is that I am really interested on what topics we can go in deeper and dive in. We can continue this as a series, not only just feature me, but I know other medics. I know some combat medics and stuff like that, and we can really get a really cool like exchange going here. So keep in mind what topics you would like for us to dive deeper in, and we can start offering like more specific trainings. This is a very general, very broad view, just to like give you something to have something to take out with you because the time is now. Okay, we are back on the slides. All right, so controlling that arterial bleed, remain calm. Once said, duck in water, direct pressure until it stops, and I mean a lot. Bandage and pack the wound. Do not remove the layers of bandaging and pack the wound. And if it's really bad and it won't stop and it's splurting everywhere, throw that tourniquet on, note the time, and get that patient to a higher level of care so they can get blood products. And here we go, gunshot wounds. And I realize, I apologize, y'all, I forgot abdominal gunshot wounds, so I can briefly just go over that, but I mostly focus on chest and the neck. So guns are penetrating trauma wounds that piece through our soft tissues and organ systems through high velocity, and the damage is depending on the caliber of the bullet and a bunch of other little factors of the gun, but that's pretty much an easy way to look at it. Penetrating traumas are treated and bandaged differently depending on where they're located on the body. Extremity GSWs, meaning your arms and your legs. Standard operation procedure is going to be CAB. This is where CAB comes in. Flip for traumas. It's your circulation, airway, breathing. Circulations. I said stop the damn bleed. stop it. Because if they don't have any blood, they're not alive. So you got to stop that bleed. And there's a lot of there's like hemodynamics and a bunch of other anatomy and pathophysiology that we get into, that we can get into if that's something you would like. So apply pressure, elevate wound, assess if the bleeding is controlled every 2 minutes. Do not remove prior bandaging and keep backing the wound. Why? Because your clotting factors are happening, getting sticky, creating a net. And by you bandaging and applying pressure, you're helping that net form. And if arterial on extremity, apply a tourniquet if necessary. Don't worry, we're getting to decon too. Real quick, the occlusive dressing. I won't lie. This is like can be MacGyver I call it MacGyver medicine. We're don't worry, y'all. Tear gas is coming. And Seabird and stuff like that. But gunshot wounds are starting to happen more. So I really think this is important. Occlusive dressings and chest seals are critical airtight bandages used to treat penetrating chest injuries. You can buy chest seals. They're actually pretty accessible on Gear. I go to GearX is where I get my gear because they sell it in bulk. To prevent air from entering the chest cavity and causing a life-threatening tension pneumothorax or the neck and causing life-threatening air embolisms. So getting into the morals and ethics of a street medic and the legalities of it is complicated. And that I think would have to be a different conversation and more of a dialogue with experienced medics, new medics, and other people just listening because it's depends on who you talk to and their experience and their risk assessment, how much risk they're willing to take, socioeconomic status, access to wealth, so they can be in court cases if they catch a case, all these things. So what is occlusive dressing? Essentially, this is what it will look like on the chest cavity. It's like a piece of plastic, and I'm going to give you a bunch of different options. And when it's on the chest, where you're trying to prevent air from entering, you want to tape it on 3 sides. Easy as that. And then give you a little bit of the pathophysiology of that. So as air's coming in, you're still able to have a flutter, and it's preventing air from entering. And as you breathe out, it'll flutter out, and it will allow for trapped air to escape. This is for anything on the chest cavity, anywhere where like air is, you have a certain pressure within your chest cavity that it needs to maintain in order to keep your lungs afloat. Anytime that pressure changes or air is escaping, what we call my brain is failing me, but crush. So I will admit, y'all, my memory is a little bit faded from COVID. So you guys have to help me. Crushing chest cavity wound. Sorry, y'all. And you just want to help them breathe until you get there. And so you're just gonna seal things up. This is where your rapid trauma assessment will come in, and we'll go over that in a second. My brain is not remembering words right now. So this is I really enjoyed making this slide. I'm always like, ooh, what can I use? So what can you use in it as occlusive dressing as a street medic? A plastic bag. I have plastic bags in my bag with supplies. A driver's license or a credit card. That's a risk of your privacy. But it is something that will work. Tape it on 3 sides. A condom. Yes, really. And a lot of your harm reduction homies have them and are free and available. Flail chest. Thank you. Yes, you got it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys helping me. That's what I've said. It's a team effort here. And I'm not a gatekeeper of knowledge, and nor do I know it all. Someone asked what should I get, and I was like, duct tape all day. You could do so much with duct tape. A snack wrapper. So your harm reduction medic that has snacks, you could take a snack wrapper, cling wrap or plastic wrap, a clean piece of aluminum foil. In the streets, some things are just not going to be clean to either breathe and survive or not breathe and die and have a little bacteria that you'll get some antibiotics from later. And by the way, we're assuming that everything, the healthcare system's still rolling with all of this, by the way. I'm not thinking past that. Menstrual pad, the outer plastic side of it, a sandwich or burrito wrapper, a piece of a rain poncho, an emergency blanket, a phone screen. Oh, that's cool. I like that one. I forgot I put that there. A phone screen protector film, a wallet photo or laminated card. Oh, dude, tegaderms are so useful, 100%. The wrapper, the tegaderm itself. Tegaderm, you can also do occlusive dressing on the jugular and on the neck with it, with a little piece of gauze, which I think I show you. No, I don't show you on this one. I looked up, but on the neck, the difference between occlusive dressing on the chest cavity and on the neck is that you actually tape all four sides and prevent an air embolism from entering into your neck, which is fatal. And you could use tegaderm for that. And put a little 4x4 or 2x2 actually, right where that hole is, and put a little tegaderm and you got your occlusive dressing. 4 sides for neck, 3 sides for the chest cavity. Rapid trauma assessment. All right. So your rapid trauma assessment is, once again, it's CAB. Flip for traumas: circulation, airway, breathing. Circulation. Stop the damn bleed once again. Apply pressure. Elevate wound. Assess if bleeding is controlled every 2 minutes. Do not remove prior bandaging and keep packing the wound. If arterial on extremity, apply tourniquet if necessary. Then assess the airway and your breathing. Is your airway open and patent? Check for breathing. Chest rise and fall. How many times are we going to count? How many seconds are we going to count for? For 15. Then we're going to do that times it by 4. That's your respiratory rate for 1. Your normal respiratory rate is between 12 and 20. Anything above 20 is hyperventilating. Anything below 12 is hypoventilating. Anything below 8, you need to start breathing for your patient. Correct. 4 sides for neck and 3 sides for chest cavity. You want no air in the neck. And 3, you want to be able to create a flutter. There's actually like flutter chest cavities that literally have like an end of a balloon on it, essentially. You could get creative with that too. Woofers are really creative people. I highly recommend a woofer training if you don't want to get EMT school. Woofers are like my like, man, I need to split something, get my woofers. Woofer is a wild, I don't even remember. It's like first aid, wildland first aid, right? Rapid trauma strip, flip and strip. This is especially for gunshot wounds. You need to be able to plug all the holes, or your patient is going to bleed out. So you do, like, what I would do if like you're on the streets. One, you need to get everyone to safety. Try to pull and extract. You be a team. This is something that you're gonna have to practice, right? It's something you have to work with your team. You can get a mega mover or a tarp and have like one teammate carry that tarp. And then when you need extraction, you're like, hey, I need extraction. And that teammate comes over and you have now a tarp and everyone carries that patient out of a hot zone, or, hot zone could be chemicals or not. Rapid trauma. So strip the patient, use trauma shears, cut off the legs. You can keep the genitalia covered if necessary, unless there's a chest trauma. Then you do need to cut off the shirt and jackets. You need to plug your holes. Rapid head to toe to stop the bleeding. Find entry and exit wounds, bandage them appropriately. Package the patient for transport for 911. Gear X is where I get my gear. All right, simplified step protocol for this. Press, pack, tie. Press, pack, tie. Press hard, really hard. Stop the bleed. Pack it. Stuff the wound with cloth if it's deep and keep pressing. Stop the bleed goes over of like actually packing a wound and like sticking in your gauze or kofia or shirt or whatever it is. Apply and then tie it if need be. Tie it tight, tight. And then apply a tourniquet if for unstoppable arm and leg bleeds. Right? Press, pack, tie. Press, back, tie. Stop the bleed. Do's for stopping the bleed. Do stay calm and act fast. Do you call emergency services immediately? They need higher level of care. Do you put firm direct pressure on the wound? Do you pack the wound if it's deep? Do you use a tourniquet for severe limb bleeding that won't stop? Do you keep pressure steady until help takes over? Do you reassure the person? Do not remove objects stuck in the wound. Oh my God, please don't do that. So like clotting factors, right? You literally just mess up all that clotting factor and you're not prepared to do surgery. Do not make if you can sorry, I was that's for another when you're out on the streets, you gotta do what you gotta do. Be creative. I'll remove that for the next one. Do not use powders, coffee grounds, or internet healing hacks. I think like with hemodynamics, there's stuff still available. So I would try to stay with that, but like you sepsis is a real thing and a real big cause after trauma. So let's just keep that in mind. Do not let people eat or drink after that because they're gonna need surgery. Do not delay transport or like applying transport. Oh yeah. Yeah. Appreciate you guys in the comments. See, some things about medicine are debate. A lot of my instructors debated about stuff, and I'm like, so which one is it? What do I do? So keep that in mind. Tourniquets are like 10, 15 bucks, I think, online on the lower end. So they're pretty accessible. And I have not had to use one yet in the streets, thank God. Do not remove pressure to check the bleed. Do not move the person unless there's danger. Yeah, ideally you don't want to move people, but in our cases, sometimes we might need to do an emergency move and extract quickly to keep ourselves safe and our patients safe. So something that you'll need to do with your street medic pod is where's your extraction point if you need to have it. Police formations and situational awareness. After this will be decon, I promise, guys, but you need to know this. Knowing this will help you be able to identify when police are going to deploy chemical weapons before it happens. So we're gonna go over this, and this is on my some of this on page. So cops, ACAB, they suck. Fuck them. Oh, uh, some people do PLs only talk to the cops because it sets us up to not say stupid shit to them. They're not our friends. They're okay. Give like period. Spanish now. Okay, we use Spanish now. Thank you for asking for you guys' needs. I really appreciate it.
So Ethos, I was thinking for time's sake, maybe like just try to ask any Spanish speakers what they need clarity on, and then
Okay,
I'll give you
let's
the
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's great. Let me stop sharing and then you could be highlighted.
Okay. Ok, bueno, continuemos entonces, porque se nos está acabando el tiempo, estoy pensando que sería una buena idea preguntarles a ustedes qué es lo que necesitan que yo traduzca, qué necesitan entender mejor para que no básicamente repita todo lo que dijo. Entonces, si hay algo que no entendieron, que necesitan que yo repita, que les aclare, si pueden ponerlo en el chat para poder saber y luego ya me enfoco solamente en lo que ustedes necesitan. ¿Puedes clarificar lo que debemos de hacer para el tourniquet? Sí. Entonces, cuando necesitas una torniqueta, hay que decir que, ok, me corté el brazo, estoy sangrando mucho. Entonces agarras, estoy buscando, estoy viendo si tengo algo para amarrarme el brazo. Sí tengo, permíteme un segundito. Ok. I have a bow tie. So, hay que decir, te la pones, o sea, la pones a tu paciente y la vas a amarrar y la vas a apretar, súper apretada. Si la parte de arriba de la torniqueta está medio descolorida, no te preocupes, están perdiendo mucha sangre y queremos, pues, parar que eso pase, ¿no? Siempre la quieres poner como 2 a 3 pulgadas abajo de la herida. So, si yo estoy sangrando aquí, ponla poquito más abajo, como en el codo, y amárrala lo más que puedas para que la persona deje de sangrar. ¿Ok? Am, ¿Tiene sentido eso? Sí, ¿no? Bueno, y luego también quería brevemente hablar sobre los vendajes oclusivos. Un vendaje oclusivo lo vamos a aplicar cuando tengamos que cerrar una herida y prevenir que le entre aire o que escape aire para que esté pues bien sellada, ¿no? Entonces, para hacer eso, podemos utilizar una bolsa de plástico, una licencia, una tarjeta de crédito, un condón, en realidad, am, un, se me fue, un papel de aluminio limpio, am, una toalla sanitaria, una envoltura de papitas, de un sándwich, de un burrito, un pedazo de una cobija de emergencia o hasta un pedazo de una carpa, lo que haya en la mano, mientras lo limpian y lo esterilicen primero. Voy a leer los comentarios. Poco ancho para el sangrado. Sí, un cinto, un pañuelo, un cinto es una muy buena idea. Es lo que estaba diciendo. Si necesitan ponerse un cinto cuando vayan a estas protestas, pónganse el cinto aunque no lo necesiten, solamente para tener algo que usar en esa situación. Voy a ver si hay algo más que no, que pienso que a lo mejor no. Ok, otra vez, apliquen presión directa y fuerte a la herida. Si está la herida grande y honda, queremos asegurarnos que pongamos gasa, metan gasa para prevenir que siga sangrando y para esto también va a aplicar buena presión. Si necesitas, amárrenlo con una torniqueta otra vez o con gasa o lo que tengan a la mano para poder prevenir que esa herida se ponga peor. Voy a otra vez ver los comentarios. Estoy viendo que están preguntando personas que si va a ver este curso otra vez. Sí, este es el primer día que lo hacemos. Estamos tratando de figurar cómo hacer las cosas, pero uno de los días vamos a tener un un curso solamente para nuestros aliados en Europa. Vamos a tener un curso especialmente para la gente que no, que es sorda-muda. Vamos a tener, este es el curso de hoy y seguiremos platicando a ver si vamos a hacer cursos en el futuro. Si alguien está sangrando el pecho, debemos usar un oclusivo. Am, Esa es una buena pregunta. Ethos, I just had a question in the chat and I actually don't really know how to answer it because I'm not a medic. So they were asking that if somebody has a chest puncture, would that also require an occlusive dressing? I was going over.
Yes. So that would be categorized as a penetrating wound.
Mm.
So anything that would imagine the pathophysiology is anything that lets air in other than through your normal anatomy is bad news bears. So any puncture wound or what we call penetrating wounds that allow air to seep into the chest cavity, you absolutely want to always use an inclusive dressing.
Ok, so si tienes una herida en el pecho y está sangrando, si quieres usar ese tipo de, ese método, cuando hay una herida penetrante, una lesión penetrante, herida penetrante, lo que le quieran decir, cuando hay eso, definitivamente quieren aplicar un apósito oclusivo porque no quieres que entre aire a esa parte de tu cuerpo, porque puede causar gran problema que pueda desafortunadamente causar muerte. Ok. All right. So far, I think I've answered a few questions. Most of them have kind of stopped, and I think it's a good place to get back to you since I already went through those based on the questions people asked.
Alrighty. Let's get back to it, everybody. Thank you, Salami, for man. It's really cool to hear medic stuff in Spanish, and I've always been curious. Sorry, let me. Well, we need to talk later, and we should get like a vocabulary like glossary going. Replace. Okay. Hello, everybody. Let's get back to it. Police formations will lead to Seaburn decon, okay? And let me just let you know really ahead of time, it's debated on decon, and street medicine, and in the emergency medicine Western world, it's just water, or it's just like they just throw you in a shower. So it's really debated on what that is when we get into it. But this is what I found to work the best. Okay, police aren't our friends. We know that. Police don't just they're not our friends. There's nothing that makes them our friends, no matter what the PR is or the donuts. Like, I don't want your donuts. I don't want nothing from you. I want you to hand your badge in and quit. Anyways, that's besides the point. Actions. Tactics are important as a street medic. Yes, the slides will be available afterwards after I edit some of it, as I caught some mistakes in there, and you guys caught for me also, which I appreciate. But yes, I'll be linking my Street Medic resource drive on my bio on my Instagram, so you guys can access all the resources. And if you have resources, you can definitely DM them to me, and I'll upload them on the drive. So we just have like this epic open source drive of street medicine. I also intended to make a Discord, but the technology to get this even going was a lot. It took up my time. So by Thursday, I'll have a Discord for people to join. Not vetted, not vetted, just a place to share resources. It is extremely difficult to make statements about how any single medic collective should act at action. Everything's situational. Everything depends on your region, depends on your weather, depends on your crew, depends on your skill set level of your crew. However, the three things will always be the same. This is from Riot Medicine, by the way, everybody, for those that join later. Be safe, be alert, move towards where you expect violence. That is what we do. We run to the violence, and if we get good at it, we can predict where it's happening by catching vibes from people that don't belong. And don't let what the crowd is doing distract you from what you're doing. Okay. So this is just general advice from Riot Medicine, who's been around forever. Be present at the starting ends of the points of actions, which we'll go over at the end. Be near blockades, especially where your comrades are blocking the streets. That like if you see people start like tussling and hustling, that might be where someone who's trying to cause problems at the march or be violent is at. You want to start heading over there. You get really good at being like all over the march or action or wherever you're at. If you are uniformed or obvious, be wary of drawing attention to people carrying out activities. I recommend actually now not marking and identifying yourself. And I think that everyone should be in black bloc at this point. It makes you safer, harder to identify, and harder to separate. Because PD, IOF, they're all the same. They target medics. And I have personal experience around that. If they're this is their language. There's obvious radicals be near them as they are often targeted for violence. I don't know what that means exactly for them. For me, I let people go about their stuff. I don't really care. I'm not a police officer. I'm not here to police anybody in the way that they protest, but I just keep an eye out on people that I'm like, oh, I don't know if you're gonna hurt yourself or hurt others. You know, that's your intuition through experience. If when people break through a police line, hold back and look for casualties, true. You don't want to be all mixed up in the front lines. You what happened at one of my at one of the first ICE anti-ICE protests out here is that we started pushing up against the line. and I was in the back waiting for people, and they ended up getting assaulted, and I was able to identify or hear a medic, extract them out, and pull them back and treat nosebleeds and whatnot. So you are not in the middle of everything unless you're attending to a situation that requires your attention. And ideally, you're always extracting people out of like really hostile or hot zones. Hey man, if you guys want to do a wiki style knowledge base, let's do it. DM me, we can work on it. Um, exactly. You cannot like you when you become a patient, that's one less medic to help patients, and now someone has to take care of you. So your safety and your partner's safety is the utmost important to continue to provide care for your community. When police charge, avoid over retreating and leaving casualties behind. We need to be in the area to extract and pull people out. If we get organized enough around this, medics can be really responsive and really important structural entities of everything. If you get good, extraction, treat, redeploy, extraction, retreat, redeploy. Matrix is a great alternative to Discord. Yeah, also is Keybase too. But it's really hard to get people to switch platforms. I've been trying to get people off of Signal to Keybase for a long time. It hasn't worked. If a patient is attended by a qualified provider, they do not need your help. Don't stay. Go find another patient. My Instagram handle is @spirit.of_the_lion. All right. Don't walk, don't run. Oh my God. When I see people running, that's actually like, I'm like, oh shit's going down. And I hate when particularly our yellow vests run. God, I hate it. Walk. And we'll get into why. Hold the straps of your buddy's bag when moving through a crowd to avoid getting separated. If you're a raver or you enjoy EDM, you know how to do that. Or if you enjoy punk rock shows, anything with a crowd, you know how to do that. Calling EMS and handover. So calling EMS on working directly with them. You guys can review this. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Police formations. This was just recently posted. The line. We all know the line. So this line is the most common. It's to contain the crowd and control the space. It's a direct crowd movement. It pushes people back and provides each other backup to carry out arrests. So you always notice that there's squat, there's the normal patrol fuckers. Oh, sorry, God, sorry. In the front lines here, if they start putting on their pro masks, they are more than likely gonna deploy chemical weapons against you, and you should probably be gearing up to match their gear. Then they have their squad leaders, they have a platoon leader. Platoon leaders, sometimes they tend to have different color shirts and different color hats. And they also love showing their rank. They love their shiny things on their uniforms. They're pretty easy to tell. Start paying attention to these formations. So this is like how they block streets. This is how they block intersections, and from us sometimes trying to get onto thoroughfares. The wedge. This is usually when they want to break the crowd up, make you an individual, from being a collected to an individual. All these tactics are to freak you out and to make you an individual. So everything is about being collective and staying together. I recently just made a post called Resistant Tactics 101 that talks about that a little bit. No, Discord has a new AI. I won't. I haven't been on Discord since paramedic school. So we'll figure out another platform for us to gather and to communicate, because when we're siloed, that's when we can't be a collective and share with each other. When we come together, that's when we're stronger. So yeah, this is the wedge. This is, if you see this happening, they're gonna try to charge you. But if you stand your ground, like literally, like imagine 300, the tortoise. It's a real war tactic that works. In this case, usually like we've seen that like they get rendered useless. So this is sometimes where they will start arresting people. This is where they'll want to push you back and push the line back and get you away further from like your directive. and stuff like that. Okay, the crossbow. Yeah, this is when they are gonna target someone, arrest someone. It's trained, it's paramilitary, it's militant. So this is what they're gonna do. This is what it looks like. Little crossbow. The people here are gonna rush in. These people are gonna surround everybody, and they're gonna grab someone and then pull them back behind the line. Yeah. So once as they apprehend, they create a circle around them. We've seen this happen a lot. And then they try to pull them into behind the line. And this is all posted on my Instagram too. I collabed with them on this. Kettle, highly illegal, but still used. It's to hold a crowd in place. It forces you to get arrested. There's been some tactics, but I can't. It's not. This is not the place that I can talk about that, and I don't know anything about any of that. But the kettle is most common. And so what happens is like they're trying to get you pushed against a wall, against a building, or against a corner where you can't escape. And they're just going to corner you and then mass arrest you at that point. Okay, situational awareness. This means paying attention to everything happening around you. You're constantly scanning. Honestly, if you're hyper vigilant and have PTSD, like me, constantly scanning the environment, tracking energy shifts, noting police movement, counting how many police and where they're located. Do you know where your extraction points are? Do you know how to get out of the area quickly? Watching the crowd flow. How's the crowd moving? Is it calm? What's the energy of what's the nervous system of the collective? And reading the emotion temperature of the space. Are people angry? Are they mad? Are they tired? All of that is important. Corralling. Look at that. While standing grounded and breath in your body. And the reason is, and then the next one is keeping your head on a swivel. Like, if you ever run with me, you'll see me just like always looking, always paying attention, hyper focus. This helps you know early, once as you pay attention more to the formations, you can start predicting what the police are going to do. The lines of riot cops, tightening, sudden quietness into one part of the crowd, people running toward or away from a direction, projectiles, or dispersal tactics. And you start adjusting your position before the danger hits your team and you get prepared for it. For extraction, get people in and out. Trusting your intuition when it's on fire. So our responsibility, identifying, we play a major part with the security team if you trust them. Identifying exit routes, safe corners, potential choke points, spots where crowd might compress. I saw some people mention like printing out a tactical map and identifying all the exits, like your metro stations, where places like I would mark it. Like if I were to do a project, I'd be like, oh, that's a red area where it's really easily cuttable, which is usually in the richer areas of cities. And then this is where all my exits are. This is a safe place for us to be as a collective. I really like Call of Duty. Where stampedes can start. Stampedes are important. Tear gas might drift. Noting wind direction. Where is the wind? Which way is it going? Which way is downwind and which way is upwind? That's gonna be really important for tear gas. And if you are working against that. So one thing that's really important as medics, and when we are stepping out of being a protester and we're stepping into this role. Yeah, video games are awesome. Really great place to like see things and play with things and be like, oh, that's a red zone, that's a yellow zone. Oh, but that's a great green zone. I know where all my exits are. As medics, we are part of a collective nervous system. And not only that, we are regulators of it. We're nodes of it. People look to us to be calm. People look to us when they need help. People look to us when they are in emergency. And so it's crucial for us to be aware of that and remain calm. Do not run, walk. And when you feel your heart beating, that adrenaline pumping, which you will, you got this. Right? And so when you panic, everyone else panics. And if you're panicking, that's okay, but you need to like everything's okay, but you really got to try to control that breathing. Some people do have walkie-talkies. Yes, ideally you do, but it's hard to encrypt, and you should be cognizant that someone is probably listening to your radio waves. Take this responsibility seriously, please. There's a long lineage and legacy of street medics and helping our people, so take it seriously. When you show up, you're there to work. You're there to be safety. You're there to be of service. This requires building a somatic, holistic home and self care practices. It's the only way that I can do the trauma work that I do: meditation, yoga, good movement practice, eating healthy, make sure I eat before I go to the action, make sure I'm hydrated. I have to take care of myself before I can take care of anybody else. So do not forget your breath. Chest tightens. And there's even this skip breathing. And audibly, somatically exhale out. That's actually a really beautiful practice to regulate your nervous system that is taught. Tear gas resistant protocol. I just took my slides from online. You can find them on my profile there also. I made this a year ago, I think, around last April when things started ramping up for ice. So proper equipment, P grade. I have mine right here. Just did a little mass seal. P grade 100s. I have the pink and gold filters, which you want pink or gold or the pink or black. I review that on knowing your gear for chemical weapons. Also another post. Heat resistant gloves, ear protection, sealable goggles, or eye protection, which is really important. I gave you the standard certification for that, which is the ANSI Z8 7.1, which is like it's a firefighting standard that actually makes sure that it's sealable. Long sleeves. Oh my goodness. Black. Hot zone decon. Like seriously, if you think about being a collective and you all dressing the same, or it doesn't even have to be black. Like you all wear you know, it's just a great tactic. Hot zone decon. So when you need to decon someone who's been gassed, this is my personal take. Dawn soap helps. They use it on animals when they are in oil spills because the oil is so surfactant. CS gas has I'm probably enunciating this correctly, but casein, which is the same thing as hot peppers. It's jelly, a surfactant. It's literally meant to be on your skin. So if it's not powder where you can't just brush it off, and it's water or you're in a humid place and it activates just because it's so moist and humid in your environment, I believe that low percentage of Dawn in a water bottle and then a regular water bottle and a roll of paper towels will be the best way to decon someone, not in the eyes. Only thing that belong in the eyes is water or saline. Yeah, and debriefing is really important. That's something that I've been missing and sad about is that no one debriefs after a really intense thank you for that. Is the grief process. Like you're facing trauma in the state head on. And it hurts and it's grief and you grieve and you carry that trauma. So having a really strong support system post intense actions is really key to keeping our capsaicin. Thank you. Capsaicin. Thank you all. And so really take care of yourself after these actions and, because it will make us sustainable. Casein. See, I got a lot of different, you guys are awesome. So yeah, once again, Decon, Dawn, water bottle spray, distilled water, a roll of toilet papers. I believe like we start getting tarps and ways to carry people out. Like even like a 10 by 10 tarp, if you could just carry someone out that way, they will rip after at some point, but something is better than nothing. Transport vehicles on standby, tactical organizational response, construction cones, hella purified distilled water, hella changes of clothes. I heard in Minnesota you guys have hockey sticks, and I hear in other places people like leaf blowers. To get creative with that, the art project that y'all are in the festival that y'all are participating in. Then cold zones. Ideally, if you did have like a cold zone decon area, there'd be cots, tents, drip, saline, eye wash stations. This is all idealistic. and like just things to get people's creativity revving of like what we can build. Because what if one day hospital systems go down? Well, we need a cold zone decon. We need to do a pop-up clinic. So really easy for decon. I made it really easy. I really trying to make this super approachable and like how I was taught EMS. 5-step protocol. Stay calm, recognize, neutralize, decon, redeploy, and resist. To be honest, for saline and the eyes, like I'll be like I usually have flushes, but even that's not enough. But like just a regular water bottle with good water in it. But if you're in the cold zone, that's where I was talking with frontline medics a little bit. That's why they recommend Sudocon wipes. But the thing about Sudocon wipes is that you can only use it once. And so what they recommend with Sudocon wipes is that you squeeze it and then you wipe it in the cold zones. I'm sorry that I don't have a lot of experience in winter, so I'm gonna have to get more creative on winter stuff. I live in California, so sorry. So that's the protocol. Stay calm, recognize, neutralize, decon, redeploy, and resist. Stay calm. Once again, your breath is your shield. Panic means you inhale deeper. Okay, let me give you a story. So I was in Seaburn. Everyone in basic training in the military gets gas, has to go to the gas chamber. You put your mask on, and they make you lift it up, and you're supposed to say the soldier's creed. And that's when you see all the photos of us coming out like this and like dying, like looking like we got tear gas. Well, my dumbass, instead of taking antacid, is not recommended anymore. I'll get into that a little bit more in a couple of slides. Um, and so, sorry, I lost track of what I was saying. No, so we don't want to use Mylanta or milk anymore. One, especially when it's hot, it's rotten. And so now you're pouring rotten milk, and now you're identifying your comrades as someone a part of the march, and they can't disappear with the white substances on them. Actually, real quick on that, we found out here when I was friendly with people that these actually work pretty well. I haven't tried them myself yet, and they're cheaper than Sudocon wipes. And in my opinion, I haven't seen Sudocon work. I was in DC when Voldemort was in town the first time last year when they just immediately started gassing us. And I tried Sudocon wipes and it just like, oh, thank you for the CS gas in the military. I'll get back to that in 1 second. And essentially, like, I was trying to get like squeeze and wipe. And after one wipe, it's decontaminated. Made it and it just spread the chemical all over my comrade, and I felt really bad. And I was like, damn. And I was just like grabbing water. And here's one thing too, and I have a video about this, a reel that actually got me banned from TikTok. That sucked. I was like, whatever, they suck anyways. You should delete that. Um, is that my brain is getting tired, guys, and we only have 13 more minutes. So let's keep going. Signal, cover your face, mask, signal others, shout gas, gas, gas. Because if you take a deep breath in, you're breathing the gas in, you just gassed yourself, man. You're gonna be coughing and you're now a patient. Hold your breath, mask up, and hopefully ideally you'll be have such situational awareness that you can tell when they're going to deploy gas before it happens. Shout gas, gas, gas. Point to your deploy your PP. Point, raise your arms at X shape so people know where it happened as you're leaving, and extract yourself after help arrives, or help others if you have a P100 respirator. Get out of the hot zone. Move with intention. Don't scatter alone. Stay together. Neutralize. This is only if you're trained. Neutralize the source. There's many ways. You can see it online. Oh, you couldn't see it. It's wildlandprotection.com is where it is, and it's Wildland is the brand. All right, so avoid direct contact unless you're trained and you have proper PPE, or sometimes you can get so used to it that you're like, whatever, but that takes a lot of exposure. And not I have to say the one before that, I have no opinion. I can't speak on that any further. And smothering CS gas is fine, but HCE gas, no water. No, I don't carry more than one mask. I just wear this on my neck. I'm gonna share more content on this sometime this week. I'm only one person, so it's really hard to make an extreme amount of content. So decontaminate. This is what we're talking about. Skin and clothing cleanse. People should be carrying extra clothes anyway. It's great safety protocol to be to change your clothing. And then you need to, and ideally someone like your ADA car that helps people get around or whatever. Sometimes we have those. You can have like bags of clothes to help people change out and get out of the clothes. A lot of times people are continuing to be irritated because their clothes are contaminated and they need new clothes. Spray on their skin, not on their eyes, the Dawn soap mixture, and then take your paper towels and wipe. Paper towels done, contaminated, and wipe again. Take water and wipe. Okay. No water for HCE, yes, because it will cause a reaction. It's zinc and calcium burning as a chemical reaction. So with water, it will. Eye mucosis membrane flush, only saline and water. Only saline and water. You need to try to have them blink like this. It's gonna hurt, but if they can blink it out of their eyes, they'll be okay. No rubbing eyes. Do not use milk. Gross. Just gross. Law is out. Vaseline or lotions, they trap it. Evacuate. Get out of the hot zone. By now, you should know which way the wind is blowing, so you know which way you need to go uphill. CS gas is heavy, so it's going to linger and stay low to the ground. The best defense is having proper PPE. If you can breathe and it's just like, and you have goggles on that are sealable, what now? Help injured and disoriented comrades. We need to stay together. Stay together in the tortoise. Link arms if needed. No one's left behind. The goal is to individualize us, but we keep us safe. So ideally, what will happen is that the people that are close to the deployment is near security, and they can tell you if it's a powder. You hear street medics like, "What did you see? What did you see? Was it powdery? Was it gel? Like, what was it?" And if they say powder, you're not in a humid environment, you can brush off, and water will activate it. HC gas is actually, it was misinformation. I got educated on this, that it was green. It was supposedly deployed with green smoke, making it making that misinformation at me, but it burns white or off, like white or brownish. You can get goggles that are big enough for sealable to go over your glasses. Yes, you can find them. Like I believe some no, ski masks are breathable, so you would need to get. Hang on. Like these right here, great. They're sealable. I'll take them out of a package. These would be a little bit harder for glasses, but I believe that you can, and sometimes there's inserts for glasses, but there's no openings on the seals of this. Nothing can get in my eyes. I personally have firefighter gear, so that's what I carry with me. But that's a good example. After action review, yes, I call it after action reflection, so I'm not so triggered for my military time. And I like to do a lot of somatic work, so. All right, so redeploy, hydrate, rinse your mouth, breathe slowly, reunite with your group if you got separated. Check in. Can you return? Support medics, do comms. Rotate frontline presence. Ideally, we'll be rotating out. So we're sustaining. Not everyone needs to be on front line. If there's enough of us, rapid deploy, reinforced banners, shields, and other resistant tools to protect yourself, because we're just here self-defending ourselves and making sure we're safe. Deploying as a street medic pod. This is kind of my take. This is my ideal situation. And this is it. This is the end. Thank you for everyone sticking with me. I know this is a little bit later, and because of this being my first presentation in a while, I appreciate you guys sticking with me. But I promise, we're almost there. Yes, this is paramilitary. Sorry, anarchists. I love you guys. You guys are so important to the movement, but we need this structure. Protocols, SOPs, and a clear hierarchy of shared skill sets, and also who is advanced and most experienced medics, and what your comfort levels are on your skill sets and what you can treat as your escalation for higher level care is crucial to save lives. Time saves lives. Quick and efficient stops at bleeds and CPR, and any life threat saves lives. You need to know what your comrade skill sets are. If someone's uncomfortable, like you're not gonna put them in as like the provider of a really incredibly hard situation or a GSW, right? You're gonna put your most experienced medic. And having a clear chain of command without ego or empire behavior, like, oh my God, everyone could become medic one. Everyone should be able to become medic one. Everyone should be able to rotate in and out in all the positions. That's what makes us stronger. Because there is no leadership. Everyone is a leader. Ideally, everyone would be able to rotate. So, ideally, these are the roles of a medic pod: lead medic, decon medic, harm reduction medic, trauma medic, scout, lookout, comms, and liaison. And then your runner. Core medic roles. Medic one. These are people that are in charge. They know strategy. They know tactics. They remain calm under high stress situations. They're your providers. They're your medics. They're your EMTs, your paramedics, and even street medics have been doing this for a long ass fucking time. They're badasses, and everyone can become one. I personally have a full ALS kit, trauma kit, and even some other goodies that are ALS. They will have a radio. They should always have a radio. And essentially, if we need to do MCI stuff, they become ICS for you. I really wish that like this could have been more interactive. I'm a way more of an interactive facilitator, so I hate that I've been talking at y'all for so long. But there's so many of you that I can't afford the webinar. So decon medics, these are people that are going to carry your decon because, dude, everyone carrying a little bit, like, if everyone carries a little bit of everything and complements each other, like you can have a whole full ass ambulance in your festival, right? And not only that, like it is so heavy carrying around decon stuff, trauma stuff, like my ACLS stuff. Like, man, that thing's heavy, bro. And if we could spread it out wide, like, man, cool stuff could happen. I haven't seen this happen yet, by the way. This is just an idea I have. Yeah, totally. Interactive classes would be ideal. Like there's lots of ideas. Like if you have ideas, DMs overwhelm me a little bit, so we'll have to figure out communication, which we'll get that platform going soon this week by Thursday's class. Okay, so decon medics, all those things. Baby shampoo does work too. I think experiment with baby shampoo and Dawn soap and get back to me with some feedback. Like let me know what works best and let's implement it and update the protocols. Like this isn't set in stone. We need data, we need information. Harm reduction medics, love y'all. Man, y'all are my favorite. Supports mental health, grounding, crisis interventions, especially with our unhoused folks when we come to their homes and disturb their routines in their homes. They get mad at us, rightfully so. I'd be mad at people who are outside, you know? I'm like, this is where I live, bro. Be a little bit more mindful. Like I tend to carry sometimes sandwiches, PB&Js, make friends. There's people when they're panic, overwhelmed, freeze, and shock. My psych nurses, I love y'all. Provide harm reduction for substance exposure, emotional collapse. Maintains the pause nervous system stabilities. People also like earplugs, cough drops. You guys keep me fed. Narcan, water, basic first aid. Love y'all. Trauma medic. These are my woofers, my EMTs, my paramedics. Love you guys. You guys will like splints. We've had a couple broken, we had a broken back once. We had someone get assaulted and have their jaw broken in multiple places. This is like your woofers or people who like stabilizing, splinting. They'll be carrying ideally your splints, your C collars, let's see what else I got here. My brain, I won't lie, guys, this is late for this 3 hour call. I'm tired. Trauma shears, tourniquets, your tarps, Also, I would say your trauma medic will also be your main person carrying your extraction gear and additional pressure dressings. Additional medic rules, these are like, if you are stacked up on medics, which I don't lie, out here, we've been by our lonesome out here. But if you do, which I highly recommend, start organizing yourselves, start training, sharing these skills, practicing. Scout Lookout, they work with the security team and they're constantly in communication with y'all about what's going on. They're the medic one's eyes and ears everywhere. There's people who like to run, have a lot of energy, are fit, like need to get it out. Bikers. Comms liaison. This is a great training role. So observer role, they usually hang out with me in the front. And they are maintaining situational awareness while also working on like comms and stuff like that. And they're the ones with the signals interfacing with other places, telling you like sometimes that's where you find out where situations are happening, and they're the ones that because like as medic one you need to not be on your phone, you need your hands free. So they'll also have a radio, they'll also have their own first aid supplies, they're also great to take notes for you if you need. Then your runner, these are also people who love to run, even maybe have like a bike or a scooter or something to get around easily. And they can like say, for example, decon happens and decon's only at the rear march and we're in the front. Runner can grab that decon kit and bring it all the way to the front and we have it going. All right. Last thing is formations. Where did I go? Medic one, I believe, should always be in the front. You can access the whole march. You're near people that you need to be near in the festival. And then you'll have a buddy, always have a buddy system, never be alone. Even pair with a security team member if you're by yourself. You have the left and you have the right side. So we'll call this my left side. So I like go left one, left two, right one, right two. You have your rear medics, right? So like the names that you call them, have fun with it. I don't know. We're in a video game and we're at a festival. Any questions? Which we don't have time. Look at that, right at 7. Thank you guys for joining. Let me stop sharing and conclude. That was long. Holy smokes. So I'm gonna hone in on this training before I record it. Maybe by Saturday I'll have it good. I appreciate you guys dealing with my little mess ups here and there. And correcting me and being a part of this education. Together we're better, and I don't know everything. And so eventually we'll get this out where it's just like a recording and it's like straight up, and like what I'll do is break down these sections so it's not super long. Okay, so thank you all for joining us. Real quick before we leave, let's just close. I like closing the portal with gratitude. So thank you to my ancestors and guides for being here and protecting us and providing counsel and clarity so that we may compost the empire and render empire obsolete, so we may usher in the prophecies that our ancestors have set forth before us, including the 7 generations, the Hopi prophecy, and so that our children and their children, 7 children after, will belong. Thank you, Pachamama, Father Cosmos, the winged ones, the 4-legged ones, the plant and animal kingdoms, for constantly giving us messages of love and that we constantly belong here. And thank you for stewarding this information and our ancestors that came before us. We apologize for the mess that we made, that our ancestors made, and we hope that we do you proud and we are your wildest dreams to usher in a liberated world. Thank you to each and every one of you guys for joining us, for joining me. We have more dates coming up. You guys really want, like, I love it. Like, I'm sincerely honored and also really sad. The complexity and paradox of a human being. So on Wednesday, we have another training that's gonna have an ASL interpreter. And it's specifically for our deaf community. So let people know to join then. Thursday, I think it's gonna be a big one again. That's where everyone really found out about it when I released it just for Thursday. And then Saturday is more geared for our European comrades. It is earlier in the morning. And then I believe another set of our European comrades next Wednesday are going to have a really early morning for us on the West Coast, but a normal time for you all there. And then from there, I'm going to create the platform and we'll figure out a way for you guys to tell me what topics you want to dive in deeper. We'll do mini workshops, but from there, study. That repetition is really important. I did that on purpose. It's the pedagogy of like really memorizing in a way that's fun and also creative because I hate rote memorizing. And I'm going to also say this real quick. There's going to be a lot of stuff said about me. I have a lot of haters. A lot of people don't like me, but that doesn't matter because we need to fight together to usher in a new world. And I hope that when you're here with me, that you can see my heart and my spirit and who I am as a person. And I'm a real person. That stuff hurts. And I'm here to just keep my community safe and be of service to my ancestors and to help us walk each other home so we can have collective liberation. So thank you all for joining us. After Saturday, I'm going to delete everyone's emails from our list. I apologize about people who didn't get the email. It literally, like MailChimp was still importing your guys' emails because there's over 7,000 of you that's registered for this. I like even am going to have to upgrade. I don't even know how I'm going to upgrade my jot form if it gets past 10,000. I have to like get on a consult call with them. It's weird. And so let's just say as the propaganda and the hate tactics and the infighting increase, that we stay focused and we stay principled. I'm still going to show up when my community needs me, whether they like me or not, because I have a special skill set that could help somebody one day. I'm going to stay focused on our collective liberation. I hope you all do too. Thank you for joining me. I'm tired, and we have another training on Wednesday. So aho, all my relations, from my heart to your heart. Let's welcome a liberated world and free Palestine.